Chapter 506. On the white jade platform, Lanya also looked at Ningcheng in shock. How could Ningcheng dare to quote such a price? Where did he get so much money? 55 billion blue coins. The big-headed man once again raised the price. Everyone knew that Ningcheng's next bid would definitely be 60 billion blue coins. This person truly was rich. Contrary to everyone's expectations, Ningcheng unexpectedly did not bid again. After a moment of silence, everyone immediately understood. Ningcheng had just taken out 1 billion green coins, and after spending 500 million, he only had 500 million left. Now that the big-headed man quoted 55 billion blue coins, he should have no money left. I'm sorry. Shi Yulan stood up and spoke in a somewhat sad tone. She understood that he must have spent 500 million green coins on her, which led to Ningcheng not being able to save his friend. Jing Wuming's face also turned pale, as he also thought of this problem. If saving Shi Yulan resulted in Lanya turning into a slave, he would never feel at ease. The expression on Lanya's face turned gloomy. She knew that she was finished. 55 billion going once. Is there anyone who wants to bid a higher price? 55 billion going twice. If you want to bid, then hurry up. The scantily clad woman on the white jade platform encouraged others to bid while looking at Ningcheng's side. In her opinion, only Ningcheng was a fool with too much money. The big-headed man's face turned pale. He was ready to bite down on the price with Ningcheng and drag it out until the celestial lord arrived. He did not expect that Ningcheng would not increase the price, which made him very anxious. 55 billion going thrice. Congratulations to this friend. You finally got your wish and obtained a beautiful celestial gatherer female cultivator. Although Ningcheng did not continue to increase the price, the scantily clad woman still excitedly announced. She couldn't help but feel excited. The slaves, which were originally worth only a few billion blue coins, had been sold for 55 billion blue coins. How could she not feel excited? Seeing a female cultivator bringing Lanya in front of him, the big-headed man's forehead started to drip cold sweat like soybeans. He only had 20 billion blue coins on him. How could he take out 55 billion? If he couldn't come up with 55 billion, what awaited him would be to become the next slave to be auctioned. I'm sorry, can you wait a little longer? I don't have 55 billion blue coins on me right now. The big-headed man spoke with a trembling voice. He felt extremely anxious and regretful at the same time. Since he didn't have enough money, he wouldn't bid for it for the time being. The Star Lord would definitely have a way. So you're deliberately bidding to make me raise the price? Could it be that you're specially sent by someone to do this? Ningcheng did not hesitate to throw stones at someone who was down. What he said was to make people doubt the auction house, and let the auction house quickly punish this person. Elder Sister Rong, he bid randomly, he doesn't have any blue coins to pay the bill. Seeing that the big-headed man could not take out any blue coins, the female cultivator in front of him quickly spoke up. Without waiting for the scantily clad woman to speak, someone had already come out. A celestial bridge cultivator directly grabbed the big-headed man and spoke. Daring to come to our auction and make trouble, congratulations. You don't have to participate in the auction anymore. You'll be the next one. Ningcheng stood up and spoke to the scantily clad woman. Just a moment ago this person had randomly called out a price to cause trouble. May I ask if I won now? The woman charmingly smiled and said, this person will be taken away. Naturally, you will be the winner. As for how much blue coins you should pay, we can confirm how many blue coins this person has on him, and then you can pay with that amount. Our auction house is fair and just, and will never let our guests overpay. Ningcheng generously waved his hand and took out the 500 million green coins he had just collected and spoke. No need to investigate, I'll use 500 million to buy it. The forthrightness in his tone was evident. Everyone in the hall exclaimed in amazement. What did it mean to be a stupid person with a lot of money? This was it. The woman presiding over the auction gave a joyful look, and the female cultivator immediately brought Lanya to Ningcheng's side. She did not know that because Ningcheng did not care about money, she had missed an opportunity to bid for a higher price. Ningcheng did not hesitate to pay 500 million green coins and bought Lanya, who was still a little confused. Just after the transaction was completed, A man with a pointed chin hurried into the auction hall. He is Miao Pu, the celestial lord of the supporting Taro star. Jing Wuming breathed a sigh of relief and whispered in Ning Cheng's ear. He finally understood why Ning Cheng did not care about tens of billions of blue coins and wanted to buy Lanya immediately. It turned out that Ning Cheng already knew about Miao Pu's arrival. Ning Cheng, thank you. Holding the detention card that Ning Cheng handed to her, Lanya finally understood that she was free. There is no need to say such things between friends. Let's go. That Miao Pu is here. This fellow is not easy to deal with. Ning Cheng finished speaking and was the first to walk out of his seat. Miao Pu swept a cold glance at Ning Cheng and the others before speaking in a cold voice. We will meet again. You're right, we will meet again or very soon. Ning Cheng replied with the same cold voice. In the revolving Jade City, Miao Pu, a puny celestial lord, would not dare to do anything to him. It was not until this moment that Miao Pu realized that the person in charge of these 4 people turned out to be Ning Cheng. Although this fellow had the lowest cultivation, he wanted to save his men. Even if he wanted to settle accounts with Ning Cheng, he would have to wait. That fellow really did not find a spiritual consciousness tag on you. It turns out that the scarlet-robed young noble left a spiritual consciousness tag on the ring. After walking out of the auction hall, Lanya spoke up in fear. It's not that I didn't find it. It should be that when I advanced, the spiritual consciousness tag automatically melted away. Ning Cheng guessed that when he advanced to the starry sky sea of consciousness, the spiritual consciousness tag had melted away. With such a powerful starry sky sea of consciousness, even a celestial lord would not be able to place a spiritual consciousness tag on him. Fortunately, that fellow did not have any extra blue coins on him, otherwise it would have been bad. Jing Wuming still felt some lingering fear. Even if he had blue coins, it would not have been bad. I still have some money on me. I just guessed that he did not have enough blue coins. Ning Cheng comforted him. Xiaocheng, how did you know that that fellow did not have any extra blue coins on him? In case you guessed wrong, it would have been over. Jing Wuming quickly asked a question. When I saw him speak with a trembling voice, I suspected that this fellow did not have enough blue coins. I guessed that he was waiting for Miao Pu to send him money. Therefore, I just wanted to test him. I hope that senior apprentice Sister Lanya will not blame me. Ning Cheng spoke with a smile. With Shi Yulan at his side, he did not want to talk about his spiritual consciousness. In fact, he had already seen the message from that big-haired fellow. Otherwise, he would not have gambled with Lanya's fate. Lanya showed a faint smile and spoke. I will not blame you. Without you, I would have been finished a long time ago. Although she and Ning Cheng did not spend a long time together, it was not short either. She had some understanding of Ning Cheng and felt sure that things were not like what Ning Cheng had said. As for why Ning Cheng was so confident, she could not figure it out. Where are we going now? With Lanya safe, Jing Wuming felt at a loss. What he most wanted to do at this moment was to stare at Shi Yulan and ask, why did you do this? However, he also hoped that Shi Yulan would take the initiative to stand up and explain it to him. However, the fact was that Shi Yulan had not spoken a single word since he bought her. For him to take the initiative to look for Shi Yulan and talk to her, he felt an indescribable feeling in his heart. Before Shi Yulan was rescued, his heart had been tormented, and could not wait to replace Shi Yulan with himself. However, after Shi Yulan was rescued, his mentality had changed to a point that even he did not know about it. He did not know if it was hatred or love, or if it was a contradictory intersection. Lanya thought that Shi Yulan was just a slave purchased by Ning Cheng, and did not ask much about it. Wuming, do you have a place to live now? Why don't you take her away first? Senior apprentice Sister Lanya and I will go to the bright just resting pen. Ning Cheng could see Jing Wuming's torment, and simply let Jing Wuming take Shi Yulan away. Not waiting for Jing Wuming to speak, Shi Yulan spoke up for the first time. I am already a slave. Wherever my master goes, I will go. Shi Yulan's words were obviously directed at Ning Cheng. Jing Wuming opened his mouth, but could not speak. Your master is Jing Wuming, that's right, he used to be called Jing Hao. I do not have the habit of buying slaves, so you don't have to follow me. If not for Wuming, I would not have taken out this money. Ning Cheng replied calmly. Sure, Yulan, I just want to ask you a question. As for what you want to do in the future, I can't control it, and I don't want to control it. Jing Wuming felt that it was very difficult for him to speak. Every word that came out of his mouth was extremely difficult. Lanya only realized at this time that the relationship between this Shi Yulan and Jing Wuming, whom Ning Cheng had purchased, was not ordinary. From the looks of it, it was not a slave purchase. Shi Yulan replied calmly, I already have a master. If you want to ask me, please ask my master directly. Ning Cheng showed a sneer. Shi Yulan, without Jing Wuming, you and I would just be passers-by. You look beautiful, but only to Wuming. Wuming and I are brothers, and I only saved you because of him. If you think that you can drive a wedge between us with these words, then you still have a long way to go. Shi Yulan's expression remained calm, without any fluctuations. However, Ning Cheng's powerful spiritual consciousness felt a deathly aura. This deathly aura was not aimed at him but at Shi Yulan. Ning Cheng immediately knew that it was not good. He placed his palm on Shi Yulan's shoulder, causing Shi Yulan's celestial essence to immediately stagnate. Jing Wuming watched Ning Cheng take action, but he did not speak or move. She wanted to blacken her meridians, but I stopped her. Ning Cheng looked at Jing Wuming speechlessly. Help her untie it. We will have nothing to do with each other in the future. Jing Wuming's voice revealed a trace of gray. Ning Cheng looked at Shi Yulan and spoke. I will help you untie it. If you want to continue blackening your meridians, I will no longer care about it. From now on, you are not my slave, and I do not have the habit of accepting slaves. You can go anywhere you want. After that, Ning Cheng then turned to Jing Wuming and Lanya and spoke. If there is no place to live, then go to the bright just resting pen. I estimate that it would be difficult to find a place to stay in the revolving Jade City. Chapter 507. Ruan Mingshu did not expect that when Ning Cheng came back, he would not come back alone, but with 3 people. Since Shi Yulan wanted to follow the Ning Cheng trio, Ning Cheng had no way to drive her away. What's more, he knew that Jing Wuming still had some fantasies in his heart. As such, he simply pretended not to know anything. Junior apprentice Sister Mingshu, these 3 are my friends, Jing Wuming, Lanya and Shi Yulan. Because it is very difficult to find a place to stay in the revolving Jade City, I would like to ask you to help me find 2 more rooms. If it's really hard to find, then we'll think of another way. Ning Cheng knew that the Ruan clan needed his help, and his friendship with the Ruan clan would also end after the end of the tryouts. He didn't want to miss the opportunity to use the Ruan family's help. Previously, he did not want to live here because he wanted to find Lanya and Jing Wuming. Now that he found them, he did not want to spend any more energy looking for a place to live. Lanya and Jing Wuming did not expect that Ning Cheng would end up living together with a female cultivator. Moreover, it was a very beautiful female cultivator. In their view, since Ning Cheng and this female cultivator were living in a double room, then their relationship definitely was not ordinary. Ruan Mingshu's surprise only lasted for a moment, before she immediately recovered and said, Of course you can, but the rooms in the rest stop are really tight. I can get another double. Senior apprentice Brother Ning, you can stay here with me. The 3 of them can stay in a double room next door. Ruan Mingshu did not wait for Ning Cheng to speak and continued. Originally, I could have shared a double room with Lanya and Shi Yulan. However, I have something to discuss with Senior Apprentice Brother Ning in the evening. Therefore, I can only arrange it this way. Lanya naturally did not have any problems with it. Moreover, Shi Yulan and Lanya shared a room and did not refute it. Jing Wuming could not figure out the relationship between Ning Cheng and Ruan Mingshu. As such, he would not ask Ning Cheng and Ruan Mingshu to live separately. What's more, since he and Shi Yulan were living in a double room, he even fantasized that Shi Yulan would take the initiative to explain it to him. Senior apprentice Brother Ning, please enter. After Ning Cheng sent the Jing Wuming trio to the next room, he had just walked to the door of Ruan Mingshu's room when Ruan Mingshu took the initiative to open the restriction. Ning Cheng took out 2 cards and handed them to Ruan Mingshu before speaking. Many thanks Junior Apprentice Sister Mingshu. I did not use these 2 cards, so I will return them to you. Also, thank you for your help today. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a place to stay. As for the array disc, I'll return it to you in 2 days. Yuan Mingshu took the card and put it back into her lotus cloth bag. She then smiled and said, "We are already cooperating with each other, so it's only right that we help each other. There's no need to worry about the array disc." After saying that, Yuan Mingshu asked in a seemingly unintentional manner, "By the way, the woman named Shi Yulan standing next to you looks very beautiful. She really looks good. If there is nothing else, then I will go back and rest." Ningqing did not want to talk much with Yuan Mingshu, not to mention that he had met Miao Pu today. Before seeing Miao Pu, Ningqing still had some confidence in killing Miao Pu. After seeing Miao Pu, Ningqing's confidence was somewhat shaken. Moreover, Miao Pu's cultivation was not just in the Celestial Bridge realm, but also in the Undead realm. Relying on a rank 4 array disc, coupled with the trio of him, Jing Wuming and Lanya, it would be difficult to kill Miao Pu. If Ningqing had arranged the array formation by himself, then it would have been fine. However, this array formation was not arranged by him, and it was just an array disc, which made Ningqing's chances even slimmer. "Well, you can go back and rest first. I'll come find you if there's anything." Yuan Mingshu spoke up in a soft voice. It was not like what she had said before, that she wanted to find Ningqing for something. Ningqing did not want to think about these things. He and the Yuan clan did not know each other at all. Moreover, he had hidden his secrets very deeply. He believed that the Yuan clan would not easily discover them. Besides, if the Yuan clan had discovered his secret, they would have already acted in the Thunder Control City. They would not have waited until now. Ningqing had just returned to his room, and had not even had the time to activate the restrictions when he heard Shi Yulan's voice. "Senior apprentice Brother Ning, can I come in?" Shi Yulan was Jing Wuming's former Dao companion. For her to come looking for him alone at this time, it made Ningqing frown slightly. However, he still spoke up, "Come in. I hope that the person you are looking for is Wuming, not me." Shi Yulan quickly entered Ningqing's room, and took the initiative to activate the restrictions. "Sit down. What do you want from me?" Ningqing pointed to a chair and spoke. Shi Yulan first gave a respectful bow to Ningqing before speaking. "Many thanks to senior apprentice Brother Ning for saving my life twice." Ningqing showed a slight smile. "I only saved you twice. It's nothing." Shi Yulan secretly sighed. How could she not understand the meaning behind Ningqing's words? That is, Jing Wuming had already saved her many times, yet she had never thanked him. She did not continue to speak words of gratitude. Instead, she took the initiative to sit down and spoke up. "My father is called Shi Guangxing, and my mother is called Yu Molin. My father is a devil cultivator, while my mother is a gentle and quiet woman from a famous family. During a mystical realm tournament in the Lu continent, my father met my mother, and they fell in love at first sight. However, my maternal grandfather hated my father for being a devil cultivator, and took the initiative to betroth my mother to Tan Sun from the Lu continent's Tan clan." Shi Yulan's voice seemed to come from the distant horizon. It was so faint that people could not hear it. The Tan clan is one of the largest clans in the Lu continent. The Lu continent's largest academy, the Kuan Yun Academy, was established by the ancestors of the Tan clan. Every academy head of the Tan clan is a member of the Tan clan, which has a huge influence in the Lu continent. After Tan Sun saw my mother, he was unable to control himself. However, my mother already had my father, and she refused Tan Sun. Facing the Tan clan and the Kuan Yun Academy, my father and my mother could no longer make the decision. The Tan clan wanted to forcibly marry my mother, so my father took my mother and tried to escape. It's just that my father's strength was weak, and he was eventually killed by the Tan clan. My mother escaped alone, and at this time, she was already more than 3 months pregnant with me. Shi Yulan seemed to have recalled the hardships she had to endure with her mother, causing tears to flow from her eyes. Even her tone had a bit more vitality. The Tan clan could not catch my mother, so they vented their anger on my father and my maternal grandfather's family. They slaughtered my maternal grandfather's family, not even sparing a few years old children. Then they burned my father's life essence within fire for a full 49 days, causing my father to die in inhuman torment. After my mother learned about my father's death, she was grief-stricken, and her spirit deteriorated day by day. Finally, when I was 7 years old, my mother also left me, I grew up surrounded by hatred, and I vowed to destroy the Kuan-Yin Academy, to kill that bastard Tan Sun. However, my strength was too weak, and I was also a devil cultivator. As such, I did not have the ability to destroy the Kuan-Yin Academy. At that time, I met Jing Hao. Perhaps Jing Hao himself did not know that although he was Tan Sun's disciple, he was actually Tan Sun's illegitimate son. Coupled with his excellent qualifications, and Tan Sun being the sect master of the Kuan-Yin Academy, he naturally doted on him. Ningqing took the initiative to pour a cup of spiritual tea for Shi Yulan, and vaguely came to a realization. Shi Yulan's experience was just too miserable. If replaced by him, his means of revenge would not have been much worse than Shi Yulan's. Sure enough, Shi Yulan continued with a mournful voice. In order to destroy the Kuan-Yin Academy and the Tan clan, after I met Jing Hao, I deliberately killed the true inheriting disciples of several major academies, some of whom were even the juniors of the academy's elders. This matter finally aroused public anger, and Jing Hao took me and fled to the Kuan-Yin Academy. In order to let others know that I was in the Kuan-Yin Academy, I leaked the news. Ningqing gave out a dark sigh in his heart. When Jing Wuming told him about this matter, he still wondered who leaked the news. He had brought Shi Yulan into the Kuan-Yin Academy in secret, and no one else knew about it. However, as soon as they entered the Kuan-Yin Academy, people immediately came to know about it. It turned out that Shi Yulan was the one who leaked the news. It's just that this Shi Yulan was also ruthless and unscrupulous, killing a few irrelevant people to provoke hatred. If replaced by him, he would never have used such a method. Shi Yulan showed a bitter smile. My purpose was achieved. I used Jing Hao's hand to destroy the Kuan-Yin Academy, the Tan clan, and even Tan Sun. Although I got my revenge, I felt sorry for Jing Hao. He is innocent. He took me to escape into the starry skies, saved me many times, and gave all the resources he obtained to me for cultivation. Every moment I spent with him, I would suffer more. Every time he went out to look for cultivation resources, I would hide at home and cultivate. In fact, I didn't dare to be with him. Sometimes, I thought that if Jing Hao fell one day, I would commit suicide, and this case would come to an end. But in the end, I ended up owing him more and more. Humans are not plants or trees, which made my heart even more tormented. Ningqing remained silent. He did not know how to comfort both sides in this matter. I took away the true spirit world, and did not want to take risks to look for resources, all to let Jing Hao know that I am a selfish person and let him leave me. But Jing Hao was too stupid. He never said a single harsh word to me. Being together with Jing Hao is a torture for me. Until one day Celestial River King Shangmao saw me and said to me, I am born with an innate charm. If I stayed with Jing Hao, I would sooner or later harm Jing Hao. He can take me away and give me my freedom. At the same time, he won't hurt Jing Hao. I couldn't stand this kind of torment. Even if Celestial River King Shangmao did not appear, I would have found a chance to leave Jing Hao. But you shouldn't have taken away Wuming's true spirit world. Do you know what a true spirit world means? Countless lives. Ningqing still helped Jing Hao to speak up. Shi Yulan laughed at herself. That true spirit world did not belong to the Tan clan, but to my Shi clan. It was something my father obtained, but before he could refine it, the Kuan-Yin Academy killed him. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep the true spirit world. Now the true spirit world is in the hands of Celestial River King Shangmao. I took away the true spirit world, not because it was precious, but because it was the only thing my father left behind. Then why did you appear in the slave auction market? Ningqing suddenly thought about the death of Shi Yulan's parents and wondered if it had anything to do with the true spirit world. It was because of the true spirit world. I thought that Celestial River King Shangmao really took a fancy to my appearance. But I was wrong. I was too confident. Celestial River King Shangmao might have taken a fancy to my appearance, but his real goal was definitely the true spirit world. Shi Yulan clenched her fists. Ningqing could clearly feel the unwillingness and resentment in her heart. Chapter 508. When I left the ocean gambling city with Shang Moyang, he said that it was not safe to leave the true spirit world with me. Therefore he took care of it for me. I could not resist at all. Shi Yulan's tone had already calmed down. Ning Cheng guessed that Shi Yulan had already taken note of this enmity. How did you end up in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, and ended up being sold to the slave market? Ning Cheng asked in doubt. Shi Yulan's hands turned white. Shang Moyang accepted the invitation of the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King, and came to the revolving Jade City. He even brought me along. In fact, he knew that I was a vengeful person, and did not feel at ease leaving me in the Shangmao Celestial River. I did not want to be treated as a puppet, so I used his name to sign up for the Man Luan Starry Skies Celestial Scryer Genius tryouts, which angered him. He threw me into the slave market in front of so many people. He didn't show me any mercy. Shangmao Celestial River King is in the revolving Jade City? Ning Cheng asked in shock. He was shocked that Shangmao Celestial River King was in the revolving Jade City. As for Shi Yulan wanting to stay alive and participate in the Celestial Scryer Genius tryouts, he understood it very well. To leave the Shangmao Celestial River King, the only way was to go to the Man Luan Starry Skies. Shi Yulan nodded. Yes, he is indeed in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, but he will soon leave the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. I'm afraid that once he knows that the person who bought you is Wu Ming, he will not let you go. Ning Cheng spoke with a frown. Shi Yulan remained silent. She had no way out. If Ning Cheng drove her away, she would once again fall into the hands of the Shangmao Celestial River King. You stay here, and don't go out. Go talk to Lanya and tell her not to go out either. When the Orchid Burrow Celestial River's tryouts begin, that Shangmao Celestial River King will definitely leave this place. Shangmao Celestial River will also have to go through the tryouts. He cannot stay here for long. Ning Cheng finally decided to let Shi Yulan stay. Shi Yulan did not say any words of thanks this time. She stood up and gave Ning Cheng a bow before turning around and walking towards Ning Cheng's room. Wait. Ning Cheng called out to Shi Yulan. Do you know the best mask-type weapons in the revolving Jade City? There is a place called Ice Wind Merchant House. This place is not very conspicuous, but many people in the revolving Jade City know about it. This place has the best concealment treasures, but the price is also very high. Ordinary cultivators are not willing to go there. Speaking until here, Shi Yulan subconsciously reached out to take out the jade strip containing the map of the revolving Jade City from her ring. However, she immediately showed a self-deprecating smile. Apart from the set of clothes on her body, she did not have anything else. So he continued, the Ice Wind Merchant House is located at the north gate of the revolving Jade City. After you get there, you can ask any local cultivator about it. Ning Cheng nodded. You go back and tell Lanya not to go out for the next few days. I will bring you and Lanya's rings tomorrow. Shi Yulan did not refuse. In a starry sky city, without a ring or a weapon, it would only lead to death. Not to mention participating in the qualifiers. Not long after Shi Yulan left, Jing Wuming once again stood at the door of Ning Cheng's room. Ning Cheng opened the restriction and let Jing Wuming in. Jing Wuming heard Shi Yulan's words. Ning Cheng knew that Jing Wuming was listening at the door, so he deliberately released the restrictions to let Jing Wuming listen. If two people wanted to resolve the misunderstanding, then they must first understand what the misunderstanding was. However, between Jing Wuming and Shi Yulan, there was no such thing as a misunderstanding. For the two of them, it was an enmity of killing one's father. Even Ning Cheng had no way to mediate between them. I heard it all. Jing Wuming spoke the first sentence after coming in. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh. I don't know how to help you. You and Shi Yulan live very close to each other. This kind of thing, you need to deal with it yourself. Jing Wuming's face no longer showed the torment and anxiety from before. His tone even turned calm and calm. Xiaocheng, let's end this matter here. There is no right or wrong in this matter. It stands to reason that I should have killed her to take revenge, but I really couldn't bring myself to do it. Her parents and her entire family were destroyed by my Wunyan Academy, but she also did not do anything to me. I just feel sorry for the brothers and sisters of the Wunyan Academy. The dead are already dead. Wuming, I should not have said anything about this matter. However, even without Shi Yulan's matter, the Wunyan Academy's methods of doing things were a bit too vicious. Sooner or later, something bad would have happened. If it was a genuine hatred, then it would have been fine. What's more, this was not a hatred at all. They even killed a few years old children. Ningqing spoke with a sigh. When he went to the Red Star Sword faction for revenge, he had taken the initiative to let the cultivators from the Red Star Sword faction escape. The Wu Nian Academy had exterminated the entire Wu Nian Academy, not even sparing a few years old children. Most importantly, the two sides did not have any deep hatred. Even if Ningqing encountered such evil acts, he would not have been able to help himself. Wu Ming, don't think too much about it. I want to tell you one thing. I originally planned to ask you and Lanya to ambush Miao Pu. However, I have seen Miao Pu's cultivation. He should at least be in the undead realm. If we ambush him, it would not bode well for us. It just so happens that Celestial River King Shangmao is also in the revolving Jade City. I suggest that everyone stay in the Bright Gist resting pen for this month, and not go out casually. As for other things, we can talk about them after the tournament. Ningqing's tone turned even more cautious this time. Now that many things had piled up, in case something happened, none of them would be able to escape. After thinking about it, Ningqing added, "Give me the images of the two cultivators from the arena who plotted against you and Lanya." Jing Wuming raised his hand and drew out the images of the two cultivators. It's these two fellows. They should not be the people of that Celestial Lord. Most likely, the Celestial Lord had temporarily invited them. Also, you have to be careful. I'm going into seclusion for a month. From today onwards, I will put aside everything and focus on cultivation. As for the matter with me, Shi Yulan, you don't have to worry about it. Just treat it as someone you just met. The past her and the past me are no longer there. After Jing Wuming finished, he slowly turned around and left. As for whether he could really do it or not, only the heavens knew. Ningqing did not really stay in the room to rest. For a month, he would not cultivate in this place. With his current cultivation speed of absorbing the starry sky's essence qi, the progress he could make in a month was negligible. Therefore, he decided to change his appearance. Elder sister Shu had taught him the appearance-changing technique. Since separating from Lan Shu, Ningqing had not seen her again. With his appearance-changing technique, it would be too difficult to cover up in the revolving Jade City. However, his spiritual consciousness was powerful enough that he could use his spiritual sense to cover up and change his aura. However, it was only temporary. Therefore, the thing that Ningqing wanted to buy the most right now was a mask-type weapon that could cover up one's aura and face. If not for Shi Yulan, Ningqing would never have known about the existence of the Ice Wind Merchant House in the revolving Jade City. Although the name Ice Wind Merchant House sounded very imposing, it was not a good place. Not to mention that it was located in a remote place. There was only a single broken wooden building. After Ningqing walked into the broken wooden building, he realized that it was quite lively inside. At least 8 or 9 people crowded inside the small wooden building, looking at a variety of mask-type weapons in the windows of the wooden building. An old man with a thick book in his hand sat behind a dilapidated counter, looking intently at it. As Ningqing came in, no one paid any attention to him. Ningqing, like these people, also looked at the mask-type weapons in the windows. When some of the cultivators who bought the mask-type weapons paid for it, Ningqing paid a little attention. A best-quality true artifact mask-type weapon cost 500 million blue coins. Moreover, a cultivator who bought a low-grade Dao artifact mask-type weapon had to pay 20 billion blue coins. Such an expensive price, Ningqing thought in his heart. Shi Yulan really did not say anything wrong. In other places, the price of a best-quality true artifact ranged from 100 million to 300 million blue coins, while a low-grade Dao artifact would generally cost around 10 billion blue coins. However, this place directly doubled the price. Ningqing looked left and right. Although the people here had already left, he still could not make up his mind. If you want to do a big deal, I still have a middle-grade Dao artifact here. Do you want it? This middle-grade Dao artifact has not been refined yet. The first person to refine it would be able to change their appearance at will. If you are the first person to refine it, then even I would not know that you are wearing a mask-type weapon. The old man suddenly put down the book in his hand and spoke to Ningqing with a smile. Ningqing did not feel excited. He knew that he could not afford to buy a middle-grade Dao artifact. Senior, Do you think I look like a customer who can afford a middle-grade Dao artifact? You do. If you do not have enough celestial coins, you can exchange it with items. As long as you can come up with something that satisfies me, I will exchange it with you. The old man spoke with certainty. Ningqing thought that this old man should be an artifact crafting master. Artifact crafting masters generally had fire-attributed main spiritual roots. He also had some fire origin crystals, but he did not know if they would be useful to this fellow. How many celestial coins is this middle-grade Dao artifact mask-type weapon? Ningqing thought of the fire origin crystals, and could not help but ask. This Dao artifact has some flaws, so I will give you the cheapest price, 10 billion green coins. The old man spoke with increasing interest. Ningqing took out a fire origin crystal and spoke. I don't have that many green coins, I only have a piece of fire origin crystal. The old man, on seeing the fire origin crystal in Ningqing's hand, immediately lit up. Not waiting for Ningqing to finish his words, he anxiously called out. Yes, you can use that fire origin crystal to exchange for my mask-type weapon. Today, someone finally came up with something decent. In his eagerness, the old man even reached out to grab the fire origin crystal in Ningqing's hand. Ningqing calmly took back the fire origin crystal and spoke up slowly. My entire net worth is this piece of fire origin crystal. If I only exchange it for a mask-type weapon, what would I do in the future? Although he spoke those words, Ningqing was cursing in his heart. This old man actually took out a middle-grade Dao artifact mask-type weapon just to exchange for something good. It was not what he said at all. At the same time, Ningqing also realized the preciousness of this fire origin crystal. If he had known about it earlier, he would have gotten more of it. I can compensate you with some green coins, just name a price. The old man turned even more anxious, fearing that Ningqing would turn around and leave. Ningqing stretched out his hand and started counting on his fingers. I need an attack-type weapon, a real celestial river-class battleship, a little pocket money, and some good cultivation pills. By the way, I also plan to buy an immortal cave in the revolving Jade City and find a few wives. The old man's face turned darker and darker as Ningqing spoke. Chapter 509. How could I have so many green coins? I can give you this middle-grade Dao artifact mask, plus a low-grade Dao artifact longsword, and then give you 1 billion green coins. These are the most I can take out. The old man spoke while his eyes stared at the fire origin crystal in Ningqing's hand. Ningqing, on the other hand, was pleasantly surprised. He had never thought that a fire origin crystal would be this precious. After he obtained the fire origin bead, he didn't care about the fire origin crystal because he didn't have a fire spirit root. Now that this old man attached so much importance to it, Ningqing felt that he had underestimated this fire origin crystal. Ningqing raised the origin crystal in his hand and spoke. A middle-grade Dao artifact mask, plus a low-grade Dao artifact long spear, plus 5 billion green coins. By the way, I'm still missing 2 low-grade Dao artifact rings. If it's okay, then it's a deal. If it's not, then I'll take this origin crystal to auction. These 2 low-grade Dao artifact rings were all for sure Yulan and Lanya. Yes, you can. The old man couldn't wait to call out. I just happen to have a treasured thunder spear, I'll give it to you. As he spoke, a dull spear appeared in his hand. The spear looked very majestic, but it did not have any spirituality. Ningqing didn't care about it. Being able to exchange a fire origin crystal for so many things already made him happy. Orchid Burrow's premier merchant house. Whether it was day or night, there was no shortage of cultivators buying magic weapons. That was because it contained the best weapons, the most advanced battleships, and the most complete equipment in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. However, compared to the daytime, there were fewer people at night. Now that it was almost daybreak, there were fewer and fewer people around. At this time, a rough-looking youth walked into the merchant house. This youth had a weathered face and an unshaven beard. At a glance, one could tell that he was the kind of person who wandered the starry sky all year round. This was none other than Ningqing wearing a mask-type artifact. Even if it was someone familiar with Ningqing, it would be impossible for them to recognize that this was Ningqing. Friend, what would you like to purchase? The shop assistant walked up to Ningqing with a smile on his face. He knew that cultivators like Ning Cheng, who wandered the starry sky, were the most refreshing and the most difficult to deal with. I want a void battleship, one that is fast and has a strong combat capability. Ning Cheng spoke with a hoarse voice. Friend, please follow me. The shop assistant brought Ning Cheng to a huge hall filled with all kinds of void battleships. Ning Cheng did not understand anything about battleships, so he spoke up. I want a Celestial River-class battleship. Moreover, I want the kind that comes from a real technological planet. It would be best if it has a flowing sky cannon. The shop assistant looked a little depressed as he spoke up. Celestial River-class battleships equipped with flowing sky cannons are currently not available for sale in the Orchid Burrow Star. Perhaps this friend can go to the auction that will be held tomorrow to take a look. The prices there are not low. From the looks of it, Ning Cheng's cultivation did not seem to be very high. Moreover, the shop assistant's last sentence implied that if one wanted to purchase a high-level Starry Skies battleship, one would need to have enough celestial coins. At the auction, the price of the same item would increase by at least 10 to 20%, not to mention the rarer Celestial River-class battleships. Ning Cheng did not care about the words of the shop assistant. He suddenly remembered the brochure of the auction that he had obtained, as he hurriedly said goodbye to the shop assistant, and quickly left the Orchid Burrow's premier merchant house. Inside the bright Gist resting pen, Lanya and Shi Yulan sat across from each other. The two of them had no rings, no weapons, and no celestial coins. Even if they wanted to go out, they had no way to do so. Ning Cheng said that he would come. Shi Yulan spoke with some difficulty. If there was a way, she really did not want to stay in this place. Lanya gave out a sigh and spoke. The last time I was also clean. Ning Cheng ended up giving me a ring. I didn't expect it to be the same this time, alas. What happened the last time? Shi Yulan unexpectedly still had the mood to ask about this. The last time I stimulated the raging flames in the void, I almost got burned to death. No, it's not that, it was because I accidentally entered the Bright Void Gorge. Also, it was not because of the Bright Void Gorge. My ring really did get burned by the raging flames in the void. Lanya did not want to talk about these things. After all, she was in a very sorry state at that time, which made it a bit confusing. Shi Yulan looked at Lanya in amazement. Senior apprentice sister Lanya, do you mean that your clothes got burned and then? Lanya's face turned slightly red. Wandering the starry skies, it's nothing much. Moreover, my clothes did not get burned. I still have a good set of inner armor. Lanya felt her tone turn a bit pale. A good set of inner armor, to put it bluntly, was just a good set of undergarments. The restriction at the door shook, which made Lanya feel relieved. She did not want to continue talking about this shameful thing. Wuming, come in. After Lanya called out, she subconsciously glanced at Shi Yulan. She already knew about Jing Wuming and Shi Yulan's matters. These two people could be said to be two tragedies. As such, she could not say anything more. Jing Wuming's face turned a bit pale, but he shook his head and spoke. I'm not going in. There are 2 rings here, one for each of you. After saying that, he stuffed the ring into Lanya's hand. I don't want mine, you can take it back. I owe you a lot, and I don't want to owe you any more. Shi Yulan's voice sounded very calm. Jing Wuming did not take back the ring. You don't owe me, and I don't owe you anything. That unfilial Jing Hao is already dead. And from now on, only Jing Wuming will exist. These 2 rings were not given by me, but by Xiaocheng's people. Xiaocheng is very busy and has no time. After Jing Wuming finished, he turned around and left, not staying for a moment longer. Shi Yulan stared at Jing Wuming's back, and did not move for a long time. Lanya understood why Ning Cheng asked Jing Wuming to deliver the rings. Ning Cheng wanted Jing Wuming and Shi Yulan to talk for a while. However, Ning Cheng's idea obviously fell through. She put a ring in Shi Yulan's hand and pulled Shi Yulan back. You don't have to think about the past. There is no right or wrong in this matter. After Ning Cheng handed the 2 rings to Jing Wuming, he returned to his room and immediately took out the treasured thunder spear to refine it. Although his nirvana spear was good, it could not play its full role. After all, it was still a raw material. The treasured thunder spear was a low-grade Dao artifact. Moreover, it was a thunder-attributed weapon. With Ning Cheng's current cultivation, It was just enough for him to use. After the treasured thunder spear was refined, Ningcheng grabbed it in his hand and immediately felt a trace of spirituality. A faint thunder glow surrounded the spear's handle, which made Ningcheng feel very satisfied. He had not spent the fire origin crystal in vain. Moreover, the things he obtained from it were all useful. Ruan Mingshu's room and Ningcheng's room happened to be facing each other. She had just walked out of her room when she saw a faint thunder glow flickering inside the restriction covering Ningcheng's room. She felt shocked in her heart. Did Ningcheng have a thunder-attributed spiritual root? Thunder-attributed spiritual roots were very rare. If he fell, it would truly be a pity. But soon she shook her head. The number of geniuses that fell in the endless starry skies far exceeded the hundreds of millions. Not to mention Ningcheng, even she, Ruan Mingshu, could not control her own destiny. Unless one day, she could cultivate to a level where she needed others to look up to her. When Ruan Mingshu's spiritual consciousness fell on the restriction covering the door, Ningcheng immediately felt it and put away the treasured thunder spear. He had always been a little wary of Ruan Mingshu. This woman treated him too well. If it was just because of a cooperative relationship, it made him very suspicious. After Ningcheng refined the treasured thunder spear, he also planned to go out. Of course, the place he wanted to go to was the auction. Yesterday, he had gone to the slave market auction. Today, he wanted to go to the large-scale auction hosted by the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. One could imagine that with so many celestial lords and talented cultivators gathered in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, such an auction would definitely not be small. Ningcheng wanted to go to the auction for one thing, the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal. The Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal was something he needed to advance to the twin radiant heavenly cloud leaves, which was Ningcheng's twin wings of the heavenly clouds. According to Ningcheng's previous understanding, every time the twin radiant heavenly cloud leaves advanced to the next level, it would produce an additional pair of glowing lights. Currently, his twin wings of the heavenly clouds already had 2 pairs of glowing lights. If he added another pair, the speed of the twin wings of the heavenly clouds would definitely increase. It was precisely because he saw the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal that Ningcheng spent 100 blue coins to purchase the brochure for the auction items. Now that he heard that the auction also contained a real celestial river battleship, he wanted to go and have a look. This was already the 3rd large-scale auction held by the Revolving Jade City in the past month, and it certainly would not be the last one. The reason for this was naturally because the Revolving Jade City had gathered all the rich people of the entire Celestial River, as well as the various treasures of the entire Celestial River. Ningcheng could not get a private room, not because he did not have the money, but because his identity was not high enough. However, Ningcheng did not care about this. The scale of this auction was much bigger compared to the slave auction that he had attended yesterday. Each guest had an isolated space. If the isolation restriction of this space was activated, then other people's spiritual consciousness would not be able to sweep in. It was equivalent to a small private room. However, few people would choose to isolate their seats. It was as if they were trying to hide their identity. Even if you bid at the auction, no one would know who you were. Everyone who participated in the auction had a unique serial number, which only they would know. Moreover, there was no need for them to shout out their bids, as long as they entered the price they wanted to bid in front of their seat. As long as your bid was the highest, everyone would be able to see it on the huge array formation monitoring screen. Even if the bid was successful, no one would send the item to you. It was just that after the transaction was completed, the item would automatically be sent to you. Ningcheng's identity to participate in the auction was that of a starry skies wanderer, with a face full of stubble. He did not isolate his seat, and no one here knew who he was. The auction had not yet begun, but Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness noticed that Ruan Mingshu had also arrived. In addition to her, the sharp-chinned celestial lord Miao Pu also appeared. After waiting for an incense stick worth of time, a female cultivator dressed in formal attire walked onto the main stage of the auction house. This female cultivator first bowed to the audience before speaking. I will be presiding over this auction. I am Deacon Yu and I of the Celestial Path Chamber of Commerce. I hope that everyone will be satisfied with the various treasures for sale. The first treasure for sale is a beast egg of a starry skies 1000-split violent ape. The base price is 1 million green coins, and each bid increment must not be lower than 100,000 green coins. Start the bidding now. Chapter 510. The 1000-split explosive ape was a powerful starry skies demonic beast. Most starry skies demonic beasts were oviparous. Starry skies demonic beasts needed to absorb the starry skies essence chi before they were born. Demonic beasts born from eggs could absorb enough starry skies essence chi before breaking out of their shells, allowing them to possess super combat strength. If one had a 1000-split explosive ape egg, as long as the egg was alive, one could make the 1000-split explosive ape recognize it as its master. As long as one had enough resources to cultivate the 1000-split explosive ape, it would become a powerful helper in the future. Because of this, the price of the 1000-split explosive ape egg quickly rose to 10 million green coins, and was finally bought by someone for 17 million green coins. The price did not go higher because the 1000-split explosive ape egg also had a big weakness, that is, it was difficult to break out of its shell. Secondly, it required a lot of cultivation resources to cultivate. Some wealthy cultivators would rather buy starry skies demonic beasts with more powerful combat strength than spend money on a 1000-split explosive ape. Ningqing naturally did not bid. He did not have much money and wanted to use it where it mattered most. The next item for sale is a celestial river bead. When you and I spoke about the celestial river bead, it immediately aroused a burst of discussion. Ningqing felt a little depressed. He did not even know what a celestial river bead was. Fortunately, you and I continued. I believe that everyone understands what a celestial river bead is. It is a bead refined by a celestial river king. It can generate a powerful domain that binds the surrounding space, and then turns everything in that space into dust. This celestial river bead was refined by a powerhouse in the heaven-seated realm. The base price is 50 million green coins, and each bid increment must be no less than 1 million green coins. Ningqing suddenly understood. It looked like something equivalent to a soul essence bead. This was definitely a good thing. Ningqing dispelled the idea of selling it. The price of this one-time use bead had already risen to 150 million green coins. I'm still too poor, Ningqing sighed in his heart. As the auction continued, one thing after another was auctioned off. However, Ningqing did not make a single move after coming in. He had limited green coins, and the things here were worth hundreds of millions of green coins. His money would only last a few rounds. The next thing to be auctioned is the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal. This kind of thing can be used to upgrade various kinds of natural wings, whether it is the Silver Star Wings or the Twin Heavenly Cloud Wings or the Hidden Thunder Wings. If he wanted to level up, he would need the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal. The base price of the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal is 10 million green coins, and each increment must be no less than 1 million green coins. When Ningqing heard about the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal, his spirit immediately shook. He had come here for the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal. Within the starry skies, the price was indeed high. The Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal had only allowed his twin wings of the heavenly clouds to evolve to the third layer of multicolored lights. Yet the price had already reached 10 million green coins. Moreover, this was only the starting price. Ningqing did not have the time to quote a price when the price on the huge monitor screen soared. It quickly broke through 30 million green coins and headed straight for 50 million green coins. Ningqing carefully swept out with his spiritual consciousness. Since the price had risen so quickly, then it definitely meant that someone else had the same idea as him. Soon Ningqing found another acquaintance. It was the young woman called Feng. When he had just advanced to the celestial novice realm, he had fought against this woman. This woman was from Ocean Bow's No. 1 casino. He didn't expect her to come here. Ningqing was even more sure that this woman wanted the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystals. As such was the reason why she kept increasing the price. She had a pair of Silver Star Wings. If she wanted to level up, she would need this kind of thing. Ningqing didn't expect that this woman would have such a long life. Wei Wu unexpectedly did not kill her. Not to mention that Ningqing needed the Amethyst Heaven Mysterious Crystal. Even if he did not want the amethyst heaven mysterious crystal, he would not let this thing fall into the hands of this woman. Ningqing did not hesitate to quote a price of 50 million green coins. Once the amethyst heaven mysterious crystal reached this price, very few people would increase the price. This was already the limit of the amethyst heaven mysterious crystal. Moreover, the people who came to this auction were not fools. Nifeng frowned. She was much more cautious than Ningqing. After quoting 60 million, she did not use her spiritual consciousness to sweep around. In this kind of place, if one's spiritual consciousness swept around randomly, it would definitely offend someone. In case one offended a powerhouse, they might just end up turning into ashes the moment they left the city. After Ningqing quoted 70 million, Nifeng finally gave up on the competition. 70 million green coins were drawn out, and the amethyst heaven mysterious crystal also fell in front of Ningqing. Ningqing put away the amethyst heaven mysterious crystal and felt very satisfied in his heart. In any case, his first purpose for coming here today had been achieved. The next item for auction is a Celestial River-class void battleship. This battleship comes from the real technological Celestial River, the Pil-Rice Celestial River. Although it is just a beginner-level Celestial River-class battleship, it is equipped with radium light arrows and a flowing sky cannon. Moreover, this Celestial River-class battleship has been modified by a true cultivator and is equipped with a Grade 4 Celestial River-class defensive array formation. Currently, the starting price of this beginner-level Celestial River-class battleship is 7 billion green coins, and each increment must be no less than 100 million green coins. The words spoken by the female cultivator on the auction stage immediately caused Ningqing's happy mood to sink to the bottom. He could not even afford the starting price with his celestial coins. The Celestial River-class battleship quickly ended up being bought by someone else for more than 10 billion green coins. As such, Ningqing simply did not stand a chance at all. Knowing that he could not purchase a Celestial River-class void battleship with his money, Ningqing decided to leave the auction house. Compared to Jing Wuming and the others, Ningqing was considered a rich man. However, in this auction he was a downright pauper. The words of the female cultivator presiding over the auction once again made Ningqing stay. I believe that many of the people here are going to participate in the Manluan Starry Skies Celestial Scryer Genius tryouts. Moreover, the thing we are going to auction now happens to be related to this tryouts. Ningqing was not the only one who felt attracted by these words. Almost everyone in the audience felt attracted. This female cultivator spoke the truth. Most of the cultivators here were going to participate in the Manluan Starry Skies Celestial Scryer Genius tryouts. This is just a rough positional map. However, I can tell you with certainty that this positional map shows a part of the Manluan Starry Skies premier mystic realm, the Time Wilderness. As long as you can enter the Time Wilderness, this map would be of use to you. Perhaps you could even earn 100 times more than the price of this map. Currently, the reserve price for this map is 100 million green coins, and each bid must not be lower than 10 million. Ningqing initially thought that the competition for this map would definitely be extremely intense. However, even after waiting for a long time, no one bid. This was definitely not normal. Even if it was a rubbish item, many people would still bid for it. Wasn't a price of 100 million green coins not too outrageous? The female cultivator presiding over the auction also felt a little embarrassed and spoke up again. This map was sent by an expert. If not for this expert. The female cultivator's words suddenly turned joyful. Someone bid 110 million green coins. Is there any higher bid? 110 million celestial coins going once? Ningqing bid 110 million celestial coins, and without any competition he managed to purchase the map. After the transaction, Ningqing vaguely felt that something was not right. He turned his head and whispered to a cultivator beside him. "Friend, why didn't anyone bid for that map just now? I heard that the Manluan Starry Skies tournament will be held in the Time Wilderness, right?" The cultivator on hearing Ningqing's words laughed and spoke. Nowadays, the revolving Jade City's auctions always bring out this kind of map to sell, just to deceive some cultivators who don't understand it. Let me tell you the truth, this kind of map is sold everywhere in the Manluan Starry Skies main cities. The price is 100 green coins per map, and you can buy as many as you want. I don't know which fool used 110 million green coins to buy a map worth a few thousand green coins, haha. Ningqing touched his face and gave out a dark sigh. What bad luck. He stood up and no longer wanted to stay in this place. He could not buy what he wanted to buy, while those who did not want to buy it ended up getting cheated. After Ningqing left the auction house, he did not return to the bright Gist resting pen. Instead, he went to the revolving Jade City's arena. This was something he had already planned out. Jing Wuming and Lanya ended up falling into the hands of two Celestial Shatterer cultivators. Now that Jing Wuming and Lanya could not leave the bright Gist resting pen, he naturally needed to take revenge. Moreover, Ningqing also felt that Jing Wuming had spoken the truth. If he wanted to grow stronger, he had to constantly fight against a variety of opponents. The Man Luan Starry Skies had many geniuses, while he was just a puny celestial novice cultivator. Even if his Sea of Consciousness was more powerful than others, he would still be at a disadvantage. In the short term, he could not improve his cultivation, therefore he could only improve his combat effectiveness through actual combat. Ningqing had never been to the Ocean Gambling City's arena. However, the revolving Jade City's arena was truly packed with people. Even if the auction was still going on, it did not affect the popularity of this place. Of course, the most popular arenas were the ever-victorious battle rings. These battle rings always had a variety of spectators around them. They paid to come here, not only to observe the fighting techniques of the people on the battle rings, but also to feel the murderous aura. Of course, there were also some cultivators who came here to make money. There were all kinds of challenges in this place, as long as one was not afraid of death, as long as one was willing to take risks. If one wanted to fight with someone, then that person would be able to fight with you. Ningqing took out the image of the two Celestial Shatterer cultivators who dealt with Jing Wuming and Lanya, and asked the person at the entrance of the arena, "I want to go to their battle ring. Which battle ring is it?" These two Celestial Shatterer cultivators who deliberately tried to pick a fight with Jing Wuming and Lanya were found by Miao Pu in the arena. This kind of person must have frequented the arena all year round. They are Gongshi Kue and Kirk from the 19th battle ring. The spectator tickets for the 19th battle ring are 1,000 blue coins, while the challenge tickets are 10,000 blue coins. The person in charge of the reception at the arena quickly checked and replied, without any intention of keeping it a secret. No one would hide anything when looking for someone in the arena. As for the spectator tickets and the challenge tickets, there was a difference. The spectator tickets could only be used to watch the fight, while the challenge tickets allowed one to watch the fight or challenge the opponent at any time. If one could become the champion for a long time, 20% of the spectator tickets for the battle ring would belong to one. Ningqing took the challenge ticket and walked to the 19th battle ring. He then found a corner and sat down. Since Gongshi Kue and Kirk were messing around in the 19th battle ring, he would definitely be able to see the two of them. Therefore, he had to first observe the methods of the two people before deciding to step onto the stage. Ningqing had just sat down when the two people in front of him whispered to each other. "Senior apprentice Sister Lanya, we sneaked out." If Ningqing came to know about it, would he get angry? The one who spoke was definitely Shi Yulan. Even if she had changed her appearance, Ningqing could still see through her at a glance. Lanya's hateful voice came from beside Shi Yulan. "If I don't kill these two bastards, I won't be able to sleep." Chapter 511. Look, that fellow came out. He was the one who plotted against me. He also injured Jing Wuming. Not waiting for Shi Yulan to answer, Lanya whispered again. "But we didn't even buy any weapons, so what are we going to use to fight with others?" Shi Yulan spoke with a bitter face. Lanya also gritted her teeth and spoke up. "Today we can consider this fellow lucky. Let's take a look at his methods first. I'll kill this trash after I buy the magic treasures. This person has set me up. I must kill him. If not for Ningqing, I would have already become someone else's slave." "Me too," Shi Yulan whispered. "Senior apprentice Sister Lan, thank you and Ningqing. Today is the happiest day I've had since my mother passed away." Lanya held Shi Yulan's hand and spoke. "Junior apprentice Sister Yulan, I know that you can't continue with Wuming, And I also know that you can't follow Ning Cheng. Therefore, after the end of the Man Luan Starry Skies tryouts, come with me to wander the starry skies. You are beautiful, but your fate is even more difficult than mine. It must have been hard on you. At this moment, Lanya completely forgot her purpose for coming here and wholeheartedly comforted Shi Yulan. Ning Cheng also felt a bit speechless in his heart. Shi Yulan had become an orphan at the age of 7 and lived alone. Although his brother and sister didn't have parents since they were young, they could rely on each other, and even stay in the orphanage. It wasn't until he was 12 that he took the initiative to leave the orphanage with his sister. Although he and his sister Ruolin had tried many times to investigate their parents, they had never found any news. However, Shi Yulan had not only lost her parents at the age of 7, but the place she lived in, not to mention an orphanage. If she was not careful, she could even lose her life. Moreover, Shi Yulan still had to bear a great hatred. Compared to all of this, his sister Ruolan was much luckier than Shi Yulan. At least she still had a big brother. Shi Yulan had said that the day she and Lanya spent together was the happiest day in her life, or rather, it was something that came from her heart, and was not a lie. Perhaps Shi Yulan's somewhat vicious methods were also developed because of this kind of environment. Compared to Shi Yulan, Jing Wuming was much kinder. Senior apprentice Sister Lan. Why did you say that it is impossible for me to follow Ning Cheng? Senior apprentice Brother Ning is really a good person. All of us have received his grace. Shi Yulan asked in doubt. Lanya looked at Shi Yulan and spoke. I don't know much about Ning Cheng, but he has a wife. Besides, even if he didn't have a wife, he wouldn't have anything to do with your past with John Doe. Shi Yulan showed a faint smile. Senior apprentice Brother Ning is a good person. He was the only one who saved me without any other thoughts. I will always regard him as my best friend. As for me and him not having any other relationship, it is not because of Jing Wuming. I do not hate Jing Wuming, but we are destined to be strangers in the future. Let's not talk about me anymore. I don't want to talk about these things anymore. Senior apprentice Sister Lan, you tell me, Ning Cheng already has a wife, so why is his wife not by his side? Lanya gave out a sigh and spoke. This is my fault. I was the one who chased him, and ended up chasing him into the bright void gorge. I don't even dare to think about it. Every time I think about it, I feel suffocated. Ning Cheng was speechless as he looked at the two women. Just a moment ago they were gnashing their teeth in anger, and wanted to take revenge. Once they started gossiping, they quickly forgot about their hatred. Not listening to the two women's words, Ning Cheng's attention was completely focused on the battle ring. At this moment, two cultivators stood on the battle ring. One of them was a young male cultivator wearing brown robes, with a hint of murderous intent on his face and a celestial shatterer cultivation. Ning Cheng immediately knew that this person was Gongxi Kuei. Gongxi Kuei had two indistinct celestial wheels behind him, while celestial essence condensed and surged around his body. From this, one could tell that this person was an expert. From Ning Cheng's perspective, if Lanya was fully equipped, she should be able to kill this person. However, now that Lanya did not have any weapons, she definitely would not be a match for this person. The other person wore a gray robe and looked a head taller than Gongxi Kuei. He also had two indistinct celestial wheels behind him, and also had a celestial shatterer cultivation. Thank you for coming to the 19th battle ring. On behalf of the other two champions, I welcome everyone. I also hope that someone can defeat the three of us and become the new champion. The battle ring has no eyes. As long as you step onto the battle ring, you are responsible for your own life and death. Gongxi Kuei stood on the battle ring and spoke to the audience with cupped fists. However, his last words were directed at his opponent, apparently mocking his opponent. Ning Cheng vaguely understood that as long as one could defeat their opponents in this place for a long time, one could then become the champion. The champion could also share a portion of the tickets. This way of earning money was not only simple, but it could also hone one's cultivation. Moreover, fighting against a variety of challengers, this kind of sharpening was not something that ordinary cultivation could replace. Of course, this kind of sharpening also came with a price. In case a powerhouse showed up, it would only result in death. What Gongxi Kuei meant was that the 19th battle ring had 3 champions. Apart from him, There were two other people. Ningqing guessed that one of them must be Kirk. Lu Pei from the Scarlet Heaven Star. Since Brother Gongxi is so powerful, then please. The gray-robed cultivator spoke out in a cold voice before bringing out his weapon. His weapon gave off a white glow, which turned out to be a myriad bone pestle. A gloomy aura of white bones spread out, causing Ningqing to think to himself, if this fellow wanted to refine this myriad bone pestle, just how many people did he have to kill? This Lu Pei definitely was a murderous demon king. Otherwise, he would not have been able to refine such a gloomy weapon. Gongxi Kuei did not care about Lu Pei's myriad bone pestle, and calmly brought out his own weapon. His magical weapon was like a globe, but Ningqing was not able to recognize what kind of magical weapon it was. Give up this battle ring for me. As Lu Pei spoke, the myriad bone pestle in his hand transformed into endless bones and shot out. Even if there were a lot of people sitting on the 19th battle ring, all of them could feel a gloomy aura assaulting them. It was as if they had suddenly stepped into hell, with skeletons everywhere. This kind of yin qi was simply terrifying. Gongxi Kuei gave a snort and smashed out the ball. At the same time that Gongxi Kuei brought out the ball, the two people on the battle ring could no longer be seen. In front of everyone's eyes was a vast expanse of yellow sand. Moreover, within this vast expanse of yellow sand, there seemed to be countless skeletons screaming out pitifully. At this moment, the battle ring was no longer a battle ring, but yellow sand and white bones. It gave people the feeling of a vast desert. In this vast and boundless desert, the people walking on it had all turned into white bones. These white bones struggled and screamed in the yellow sand. Others might not be able to see the situation on the battle ring, but Ningqing could see it very clearly. Gongxi Kuei had the upper hand, and his ball constantly created a desert aura of yellow sand. In fact, this yellow sand was truly yellow sand. This yellow sand made Lu Pei feel sluggish and tormented, causing his actions and the myriad bone pestle to slow down. Ningqing knew that this was Gongxi Kuei's domain. This fellow could become the champion of the 19th battle ring, which showed that he truly had some skill. Ningqing looked at Lanya in front of him. Lanya did not continue to talk to Shi Yulan, and instead stared intently at the battle ring. Apparently, she was also shocked by Gongxi Kuei's actions. Gongxi Kuei was just a celestial shatterer cultivator, yet he possessed such a powerful domain. Violent explosion sounds and screams erupted from the battle ring. Yellow sand filled the sky. However, it did not escape the sphere's range. The yellow sand surrounded Lu Pei within a certain range of the sphere. At this moment, Lu Pei was already busy dealing with it. From the looks of it, this was the first time he had encountered such an opponent. Ningqing's spiritual consciousness noticed that Gongxi Kuei's yellow sand had formed into a few human figures, while Gongxi Kuei had disappeared into the yellow sand. Ningqing's starry sky's sea of consciousness was extremely powerful. However, he could still clearly see Gongxi Kuei's real body. However, Gongxi Kuei brought out a short bow and pulled back the short bow. However, the short bow did not have any arrows attached to it. Whoosh! A rapid bowstring sound transmitted into Ningqing's sea of consciousness, and Ningqing's spiritual consciousness immediately caught sight of an arrow-shaped object that looked exactly like the yellow sand. At the moment of death, Lu Pei finally realized that something was wrong. His body twisted like a ribbon hanging from a rotating conch and swayed rapidly. Even so, he still could not avoid Gongxi Kuei's shadowless yellow sand arrow. The arrow shadow entered Lu Pei's body without making even the slightest sound, causing Lu Pei to completely freeze. However, Gongxi Kuei did not stop there. With a wave of his short blade, a blood arrow shot out from Lu Pei's head. At the same time as the blood arrow shot out from Lu Pei's head, the yellow sand covering the sky disappeared, and the gloomy white bones also disappeared. A huge ball suspended over Gongxi Kuei's head, while the myriad bone pestle lost control, and fell to the ground with a clatter. Other than Lu Pei's corpse, where else could one find a speck of yellow sand? Lu Pei's life essence had not even spilled out. However, Ningqing could clearly see that Gongxi Kuei's arrow had already killed Lu Pei's life essence. A burst of noise erupted from the audience. Apparently, the audience felt very satisfied with this tragic killing. Lanya and Shi Yulan remained silent. Both of them had higher cultivation compared to Gongxi Kuei. However, They knew that even if they went up, they would not necessarily be able to walk out of the yellow sand covering the sky. Gong Shikue calmly picked up Lu Pei's ring before turning Lu Pei into flying ash with a fireball. He then cupped his fists and spoke. Thank you everyone for your support. I believe that no one will challenge me today. However, everyone's blue coins will not be in vain. Soon, Kirk will present everyone with an even more exciting fight. Don't worry. Who said that no one would challenge you? Didn't I already come? A lazy voice reached everyone's ears, followed by a young man with an unkempt beard walking up to the battle ring out of thin air. This young man gave off a trace of the vicissitudes of the starry skies, as if his entire being was a starry sky itself. This was a starry skies wanderer. At this moment, everyone could see it clearly. Gong Shikue's spectacular killing of Lu Pei had not yet let the others see enough. When someone else came up to challenge Gong Shikue, thunderous applause once again erupted from the spectator stands of arena number 19. Since they had paid to come here, they naturally wanted to see the most exciting fight. Just now, the battle with the yellow sand covering the sky was already very exciting. As such, who would want to miss out on a second fight? Chapter 5:12. Gong Shikue also felt surprised. He did not expect that after killing Lu Po in such a bloody manner, someone would immediately challenge him. However, when he saw Ning Cheng's appearance, he immediately turned furious. It looks like he had been too gentle recently. Even a celestial novice ain't dared to challenge him. Is this person a celestial novice cultivator? Lanya and Shi Yulong glanced at each other in surprise. More than 90% of cultivators without celestial wheels were celestial novice cultivators. Celestial shatterer cultivators and celestial gatherer cultivators did not have celestial wheels, but they were relatively rare. Moreover, celestial wheels represented a cultivator's strength. Without celestial wheels, even a celestial gatherer cultivator would not be strong enough. A celestial novice cultivator, did he want to die? Since you want to die, then sign up. Gong Shikue's mouth showed a faint cruel smile. He decided to use this fellow who came to the stage without any regard for his own life and death to establish his prestige. Dog slaughterer. Ning Cheng stretched out his hand, and the treasured thunder spear appeared in his palm. Faint thunder light lingered over Ning Cheng's palm. Ning Cheng being a cultivator with a thunder-attributed spiritual root truly surprised Gong Shikue. Generally, such cultivators cherish their feathers and rarely came to places like the arena. However, Ning Cheng's dog slaughterer immediately made him angry. He no longer wanted to speak anymore. His murderous intent burst out, and the huge sphere over his head exploded. Boom boom. Yellow sand rolled up into the sky, and the cultivators watching the fight from the 19th battle stage felt as if they had stepped into a raging desert. The rolling yellow sand was like a stormy sea, rolling up wave after wave of yellow sand walls. The yellow sand quickly submerged the battle stage, and the two cultivators fighting could no longer be seen. One could only feel bursts of killing intent constantly seeping out from the yellow sand. Sure enough, it was a powerful domain control. The yellow sand looked very real, and each grain of sand had been refined by Gong Shikue, transforming it into his domain. Other people's domains were just an invisible form of spatial control, but his domain had already taken form. Although he could not turn an invisible domain into a tangible form, he managed to do it using his own tangible magical weapon. In the eyes of ordinary cultivators, this was a terrifying feat. Only cultivators with great spiritual abilities could achieve a tangible form of domain. However, Gong Shikue managed to achieve this. In Ning Cheng's opinion, it was simply ridiculous. Ning Cheng possessed the starry sky sea of consciousness, which meant that his spiritual consciousness was not only more powerful compared to ordinary cultivators, but it also had a completely different quality. He believed that a tangible domain was not something that could be achieved through external objects. Tangible domain was the true solidification of space, and it was the embodiment of a powerful divine ability. He had just advanced to the domain realm, and his domain was perfected. He had passed the domain realm lightning tribulation, the nirvana lightning tribulation, and the sea of consciousness lightning tribulation. Gong Shikue's control over domains was far from comparable. After Gongshi Kuei's domain shot out, it immediately encountered a hindrance. This obstruction wasn't the same as when he fought against Lu Pei's white bones, but an invisible obstruction that couldn't be seen or touched, and there was no way to deal with it. Gongshi Kuei had not dominated the 19th battle ring for a day or two, so he instantly understood what was going on. This domain was much more powerful than his own. Moreover, this domain was able to bind his yellow sand tangible domain. A layer of cold sweat broke out on his back as he recalled the ancestral teachings of the Gongshi family. The Gongshi clan's yellow sand domain belonged to the category of tangible domains, and there were very few opponents in the same realm. However, once this domain encountered a more powerful invisible domain, the first thing to do was to quickly leave the battlefield and run as far away as possible. Gongshi Kuei had been on the path for many years, and had killed many opponents in the same realm, even those with celestial gatherer cultivations. However, he had never seen a cultivator who could use an invisible domain to control his tangible domain. However, he met one today. The opponent's invisible domain was something he had never seen before in his life, and it had even completely bound his yellow sand. With such a powerful invisible domain, was the other party really a celestial novice cultivator? Regardless of whether the other party was a celestial novice cultivator or not, Gongshi Kuei decided to follow the ancestral teachings and retreat first. He once again brought out the delicate bow. This time, he did not just shoot a single invisible yellow sand arrow, but pulled the bowstring 3 times in a row before quickly retreating. There was a saying that once the bow was shot, there was no turning back. However, this saying was definitely not correct in a fight within the starry skies. If Gongshi Kuei had not retreated and forcibly confronted Ningcheng, then after shooting the 3 arrows, Ningcheng would have had to face several times more pressure compared to the current situation. However, after Gongshi Kuei shot the 3 arrows, he quickly retreated. The momentum of his arrows also weakened as he retreated, which was equivalent to turning back the arrow. He had mistaken Ningcheng for Lu Pei. If it were Lu Pei, then even if he retreated, the 3 arrows would still pose a threat to Lu Pei's life. However, Ningcheng, who had the upper hand in this domain confrontation, could see every move of Gongshi Kuei in his eyes. Gongshi Kuei had just retreated when Ningcheng's treasured thunder spear shot out. At the same time as the treasured thunder spear shot out, an indescribable feeling welled up in Ningcheng's heart. This was something he had never experienced before when using the Nirvana spear. Although the Nirvana spear could produce that kind of spear intent, he could not comprehend the essence of the spear intent. At this moment, Ningcheng completely forgot about everything around him. The yellow sand, the shadowless yellow sand arrow, all of them became insignificant. His entire mind was focused on this spear, which cut through all domains and cut through all obstacles. The yellow sand domain formed by the huge sphere automatically separated, and the shadowless yellow sand arrow also disappeared. The entire battle ring, no, in Ningcheng's consciousness, only this spear existed in the entire world. Anything that stood in the way of this spear would immediately turn to dust. Gongshi Kuei could only watch as this spear shot towards him. However, his body turned sluggish and could not avoid it at all. At this moment, Gongshi Kuei regretted his decision. He should not have retreated. Sometimes, the ancestral teachings were not completely correct. Perhaps the ancestral teachings meant that if one met such an opponent, only death awaited them. It was just that they spoke it in a euphemistic manner. Gongshi Kuei could only see the spear cutting through all obstacles as it shot towards his glabella. Although he felt different from Ningcheng, what he saw was the same. He could only see a thunder light spear head shooting towards him, while he was powerless to avoid it. The scene on the battle ring seemed to have come to a standstill at this moment, while all the spectators stared at the almost still battle ring in shock. At this moment, on the battle ring, the yellow sand was still, Gongshi Kuei was still, Ningcheng was also still, and even the thunder spear was still. The only thing that moved was not these things, but the distance between the treasured thunder spear and Gongshi Kuei's glabella. That's right, the distance between them was shrinking. Poof! The sound of the spear piercing through the glabella could be heard clearly amidst the faint thunder light and the yellow sand that filled the sky. A blood-red flower of blood blossomed. In the midst of the yellow sand that filled the sky, this blood-red flower looked somewhat poignant. Boom! After this blood-red flower of blood blossomed, The still scene on the battle ring instantly accelerated. Yellow sand filled the entire battle ring, while Gongshi Kuei's body fell to the ground, no longer showing any signs of life. It felt like an illusion, but it also felt like it was not an illusion. Ning Cheng still had his eyes closed. He had felt too many things from this spear. All of this had been vague before, but this time he could clearly feel it. It seems that using the Nirvana spear without any spirituality before was a mistake. Although the Nirvana spear was extremely hard, it did not have much use for his cultivation and perception. Ning Cheng remained silent on the battle ring, while the audience under the battle ring also remained silent. This battle was much faster than the previous one, and one could even say that it was more poetic and picturesque. However, at this moment, no one had yet to sober up from the shock of the still scene. After a few breaths, Ning Cheng opened his eyes and raised his hand, causing Gongshi Kuei's ring to fall into his palm. Gongshi Kuei's weapon was connected to his life essence. Now that Ning Cheng killed him, the huge sphere also turned into yellow sand. After Ning Cheng turned Gongshi Kuei into dust with a fireball, he waved his hand again, causing the yellow sand to pile up on one side of the battle ring as if it had eyes. The spectating cultivators finally sobered up from the spear intent and the killing intent, as well as the raging waves of yellow sand, causing thunderous applause to erupt. They had not come in vain. Although this battle was short, it was very exciting. Ning Cheng cupped his fists towards the audience under the battle ring and spoke out in a clear voice. "Thank you, friends, for coming to the 19th battle ring to watch the battle. From now on, I, Dog Butcher, will occupy the 19th battle ring. The next opponent I will challenge is Kirk. I believe that this will also be Kirk's last battle. After this battle, there will no longer be a Kirk in the 19th battle ring." The audience cheered even louder. Ning Cheng's words caused everyone to misunderstand that he would occupy the 19th battle ring alone in the future. This was not a trivial matter. In this wrestling ring, there were only 3 people who could occupy an arena by themselves. Could it be that the number 19 was going to be added to the list? When Ning Cheng killed Gongshi Kuei, he had already decided to spend the next month in this place. This kind of growth during the battle made him very happy. He felt sure that this battle would be much more powerful compared to cultivating in seclusion for a few months, or even half a year. Comprehending such a powerful domain spear intent, even if an iPhone came back, he would not feel any fear. So powerful. Lanya stared at Ning Cheng and spoke out in a daze. She had never seen such a powerful celestial novice cultivator. Was he really a celestial novice cultivator? Shi Yulan also sobered up from the shock. This was the first time that she had comprehended a kind of intent during a battle, which would definitely benefit her cultivation. It would be great if she could come here often to watch this person's battles in the future. Senior apprentice Sister Lanya, this person helped you kill Gongshi Kuei. You don't have to worry about killing Gongshi Kuei anymore. This Starry Skies Wanderer is just too powerful. I have never seen such a powerful celestial novice cultivator. Shi Yulan stared at Ning Cheng on the stage and spoke with a trembling voice. She thought that if one day she also possessed such a powerful intent, then killing that Shangmao Celestial River King would not be an impossible thing. Kirk, come up, don't shrink back, Kirk. The audience below the battle ring had already begun to crazily call out for Kirk. Gongshi Kuei killing Lu Pei had made them feel that this trip was not in vain. Moreover, Dog Butcher killing Gongshi Kuei made them feel even more fortunate to come to the 19th battle ring today. Now that Dog Butcher challenged Kirk, how could these spectators miss it? Chapter 513. Kirk looked a bit older than Gongshi Kuei, and had long hair tied into a starry sky bun, while his skin was somewhat dark. Because of this, he appeared to be very carefree and unrestrained. The entire process of Ning Cheng shooting Gongshi Kuei, Kirk could clearly see it from the side. Initially, he had the same thoughts as Gongshi Kuei, that Ning Cheng would die without a doubt. However, the result surprised him. Gongshi Kuei was killed. Moreover, he was killed in a very short period of time. Although he believed that he was not worse than Gongshi Kuei, he absolutely did not want to fight against Ning Cheng right now. Even if he wanted to fight, he would have to wait until he had investigated everything. However, now that Ning Cheng challenged him, a champion, in front of so many people, If he did not come up to the stage, it would be tantamount to losing his title as champion. At the same time, he would have to tuck his tail between his legs and leave the revolving Jade City. Not to mention the fact that he could not accept such an extremely humiliating thing. Even if it was the reward of the 19th arena, he did not want him to leave. If a cultivator lost a stable source of income, what would he use to purchase cultivation resources? To cultivate in the starry skies, financial resources were the most important factor. Without financial resources, one could forget about cultivating. Due to these reasons, Kirk had no choice but to accept the challenge. Friend, I am Kirk. Judging from your appearance, it seems that you have come to challenge me in the 19th arena. If you have any personal grievances, please say it directly. I, Kirk, will accept it. Kirk's tone was incomparably stern, but very few people could understand the guilt in it. Under normal circumstances, when he went up to the stage to challenge, he would absolutely not say any nonsense. Today, he went on stage and talked nonsense for a long time, even talking about personal grudges. The arena would not care about any grudges. No matter what reason one had to challenge, it was not against the rules. Kirk was trying to find something to say. This person is afraid. Lanya whispered to Sher Yulan. She suddenly felt grateful towards this dog slaughterer standing on the stage. You talk a lot of nonsense. Ning Chung raised his hand and brought out the treasured thunder spear along with a thunder line. Ning Chung felt that what he lacked the most at this moment was fighting. He vaguely felt that as long as he could go through a series of battles, he would be able to create a complete spear technique, something that was not any weaker than the maximal flame spiritual technique. Since Ning Chung had already started, Kirk did not dare to speak any nonsense. A pair of translucent white swords appeared, and an icy glow spread out. Although Kirk's pair of ice blades were only low-grade Dao artifacts, they were top-notch goods among low-grade Dao artifacts. This was refined from the Void Abyss ice. Regardless of whether it was the water attribute or the ice attribute main spirit root, as long as he had this pair of ice blades in his hands, his strength would increase by a level. As soon as Kirk brought out his ice blade, the surrounding temperature immediately dropped rapidly. Not to mention the people in the arena, even the spectator stands were freezing cold. Some of the weaker cultivators hurriedly created a barrier to block the cold aura. Ning Chung was not surprised in his heart. On the contrary, he felt more and more that entering the arena was the right choice. In this place, one could indeed encounter all kinds of opponents. This was definitely a good place to hone oneself. To be able to stand firm here, which cultivator didn't have a skill? Just like Gongshi Kuei's yellow sandball and Kirk's cold ice blade light. This coldness was not the end, but merely the beginning. As Kirk completely unsheathed his pair of ice blades, the surrounding air became increasingly chilly. In just a few breaths, this place no longer had an ice-cold aura, but turned into an ocean of ice. Even the surrounding air seemed to have frozen to the point of making crackling sounds. In the middle of this seemingly endless profound ice ocean, Ning Chung looked completely frozen. However, Kirk's two profound ice blade lights ignored the almost solidified profound ice-cold aura, and shot towards Ning Chung like two shadows. Ning Chung immediately awoke from the invasion of the terrifying ice blade lights, and once again shot out with his treasured thunder spear. Bang bang bang. This time, the treasured thunder spear stabbed out. Instead of a faint thunder light lingering around the spear, it brought out tiny thunder lights one after another. These thunder lights cut through the surrounding ice-cold space, driving the spear shadows to quickly strike the two ice blade lights. Bursts of crackling sounds erupted, and Ning Cheng's long spear felt as if it had struck a frozen river, causing the surrounding ice to start cracking. At the same time, a powerful celestial essence backlash erupted, causing one of the ice blade lights to slide off the treasured thunder spear. However, it did not fly away. Instead, it broke through the ice-cold space and directly struck Ning Cheng's chest. Ning Cheng felt a push on his body, causing the thunder lights on the treasured thunder spear to weaken in an instant. At the same time, the surrounding ice-cold space turned even colder. Bang! Ning Cheng slammed into the restrictions covering the battle ring, while secretly marveling at the richness of Kirk's celestial essence. An icicle of blood appeared on Ning Cheng's chest. A horrifying chill seeped into Ning Cheng's body through this icicle of blood. Not waiting for this terrifying chill to ravage his meridians, the mysterious yellow aura, mixed with a trace of fire origin, quickly melted away the ice. Ning Cheng knew that it was not that he did not have enough celestial essence, but that he had lost in terms of momentum. He was different from the other spectators. Others might have only felt the chill, but he could feel the killing power and killing intent contained within this icy chill. Just now he had been sensing the cold killing intent in the air, and he had even deliberately stopped his attack. That was why he was sent flying. To put it simply, he had underestimated his opponent. Facing a celestial shatterer cultivator, he had actually underestimated his opponent. Previously, he could easily kill Gongshi Kuei, not because his strength crushed Gongshi Kuei, but because his domain crushed Gongshi Kuei's domain. Kirk also flew back under Ning Cheng's attack. However, he calmed down. This fellow who killed Gongshi Kuei did not seem to be as powerful as he had initially thought. After getting hit by his own cold poison blade lights, even if he could control his meridians, his combat prowess would still plummet. Kirk's dual ice blades once again gathered together. This time, it did not just bring out the murderous aura from the blade lights that had turned into an icy mist, but rather a billowing wave of ice. It rushed towards Ning Cheng like an avalanche. In addition to the stifling pressure, it also brought out an ice-cold suppression. The treasured thunder spear in Ning Cheng's hand shook, and in addition to the thunder lights, a purple flame also appeared on the spear's body. A horrifying heat erupted from the treasured thunder spear in Ning Cheng's hand. This violent and horrifying heat felt like a volcanic eruption. It suddenly appeared within the endless waves of ice. Not only did it not weaken, but it also started to slowly grow stronger. The cultivators who were watching the battle were freed from the endless chill, as if they had fallen into a boundless volcano. Or rather, on one side was an endless cold pit, while on the other side was a terrifying volcano. This was not a battle, but a torment of ice and fire. The ice on top of Ning Cheng's head quickly turned into water vapor, while he calmly stared at Kirk in front of him. At this moment, he finally broke down his elusive spear intent, and unleashed the first spear. The moment the spear shot out with the celestial river flame, all the ice in the surroundings began to melt, transforming into a spear that could only be sensed by one's thoughts. A powerful domain spread out along with the treasured thunder spear. Kirk not only felt his dual ice blades turn sluggish, but even his body also turned sluggish. Such a powerful domain. Just how powerful did one's spiritual consciousness have to be to form such a powerful domain? Kirk finally understood how Gongshi Kuei died. He found it increasingly difficult to move within this domain. At this moment, he understood that he was not an opponent against Ning Cheng. Kakaka. The icy mist blocking the treasured thunder spear completely melted, and the treasured thunder spear, along with a fiery glow, smashed into Kirk's ice blades. As the ice blades flew up, Kirk's spiritual consciousness tried to bind the ice blades. However, the gap between his spiritual consciousness and Ning Cheng's was too big. Poof! Kirk spat out a mouthful of blood as he once again flew upside down. Not waiting for Kirk to beg for mercy, Ning Cheng's treasured thunder spear shot out once again. This time, the fiery flames covering the treasured thunder spear had disappeared, leaving only flashes of lightning. The cultivators watching the fight from below the battle ring felt shocked by the rapid change in the battle scene. All of them stared at the icy mist and the fiery heat intertwining above the battle ring. This was not just a battle of domains, but also a battle of attribute transformations. It's really powerful. This time it was not Lanya, but Shi Yulan. She found that even with her celestial gatherer cultivation, once she stepped onto the stage, she would not be able to beat either of these two people. Lanya took in a deep breath and spoke. I always felt a familiar aura from those flames. I don't know where I had seen them before. Senior apprentice Sister Lan, you should be standing on Dog Slaughterer's side. After all, he helped you get your revenge. Therefore, you naturally feel that you should be on the same side as him. In fact, we don't even know this person. This person has a Starry Skies aura, indicating that he is definitely a Starry Skies wanderer. Starry Skies wanderers rarely have friends. For them, women are just an object to vent their anger on. Sure, Yulan explained from the side. Lanya nodded and spoke. I guess that's the case. Junior apprentice Sister Yulan, since you are so familiar with Starry Skies Wanderers, what would happen to women if they became Starry Skies Wanderers? I think that if women wander the starry skies for a long time, their personalities would also become similar to male cultivators, right? Sure, Yulan replied with some uncertainty. Then, would they also use male cultivators as an object to vent their anger on? Senior apprentice Sister Lan, why are you asking this? Did you forget what I told you before? It's because I intend to become a Starry Skies Wanderer. If Junior apprentice Sister Yulan has no place to go, you can come with me to wander the starry skies. Lanya smiled. Sure, Yulan did not smile. Instead, she replied cautiously, I don't know about others, but even if I become a Starry Skies Wanderer, I will not use male cultivators as an object to vent my anger on. It would be disgusting. I hope to find someone I like in the future, and we can be together forever. Boom. An explosive sound erupted over the battle ring, awakening Lanya and Sure Yulan, who were still in the middle of their conversation. The two of them then saw that the ice mist covering the battle ring had completely dissipated, while Dog Butcher's spear had once again blasted away the huge round shield that Kirk had brought out. However, the spear flashing with lightning did not stop, and continued to stab towards Kirk's glabella. Kirk opened his mouth and seemed to want to say something. However, there seemed to be a force binding him, making it impossible for him to speak. Poof! The treasured thunder spear pierced through Kirk's glabella, causing Kirk and Gongshi Kue to fall down. This time, the onlookers in the auditorium reacted quickly and broke out in an uproar. These voices were mixed with a lot of excitement. Ning Cheng remained motionless as he recalled the spear wrapped in the celestial river flame aura. It was that spear that allowed him to break through Kirk's ice-cold aura and kill Kirk in one fell swoop. Chapter 514. Without the starry sky sea of consciousness, Ning Cheng felt sure that he would not be Kirk's opponent. The starry sky sea of consciousness was just too powerful. Without the fire origin, he would not be able to melt the ice-cold energy destroying his meridians so quickly. If he could not melt the ice-cold energy destroying his meridians quickly, he would be at an even greater disadvantage. That final spear attack with the Celestial River Fire attribute combined his spear intent and the Celestial River Fire attribute to create a new spear attack. When this spear attack was brought out, it brought out endless flame patterns. These flame patterns were similar to the axe line killing intent that he had comprehended in the past. It blasted all the obstacles around it into nothingness, allowing the spear intent to move forward. The strength of his domain, the strength of his celestial river fire, and the strength of his spear attack. From now on, this spear attack would be called the Nothingness Flame Pattern Spear. Ningqing gave out a sigh. Maybe he could try challenging an iPhone. With his current ability, even if he could not compare to a celestial gatherer cultivator, the difference should not be too far. Once he went back and upgraded the twin wings of the heavenly clouds, even if he could not beat them, he could still escape at any time. Ladies and gentlemen, from today onwards, I will be the champion of the 19th battle ring. All cultivators with celestial scryer cultivation can challenge me. As for those above the celestial bridge realm, I will ignore them. The name Dog Butcher is somewhat disrespectful to my opponents. I am a Starry Sky Wanderer, so I will now change my name to Wanderer. Ningqing stood on the stage and spoke with cupped fists and a smile. Since Gongshi Kue and Kirk were killed, he naturally had to change his name. The third champion of the 19th battle ring was still worried about whether or not Ningqing would continue to challenge him. When he heard Ningqing once again speak, "When I am here, I am the champion, but when I am not here, there will be another champion." Although the tone was overbearing, the remaining champion did not find it harsh at all. Instead, after hearing Ningqing's words, he felt relieved. As long as Ningqing did not challenge him, everything else was secondary. In fact, Ningqing's words were meant to comfort the third champion. It meant that he did not need to bother with this deity, and that he would not kill him. For Ningqing, even if he became the champion of the 19th battle ring, he could not be here all the time. Once he was gone, the wrestling arena would arrange for someone else to challenge him. They would not abandon the arena just because he was gone. Of course, if one signed a special contract with the arena, even if the arena master was not present, the arena would leave the arena empty. However, not every arena lord had the qualifications to sign a contract with the arena. Only those extremely popular arena lords had the qualifications to sign a contract with the arena. How could he be so popular? Naturally, they were invincible and eternal victors. There would never be an eternal victor in the wrestling ring. As long as one dared to stay in the wrestling ring, there would always be someone who would kick them out. Therefore, most cultivators who trained in the arena would give up the title of arena lord when they felt that it was about time. Apart from a few conceited cultivators, they would always occupy the position of arena master. After Ningcheng finished speaking, he quickly walked down the battle ring, and soon left the arena. Lanya initially wanted to get to know Ningcheng, but Ningcheng did not give her the opportunity. Lanya knew that she and Shi Yulan could not stay outside for long, so she quickly rushed back to the bright just resting pen. As soon as Lanya entered the resting pen, she arrived outside Ningcheng's room. Seeing that Ningcheng's room was in seclusion, Lanya had no choice but to leave with Shi Yulan. Ningcheng immediately went into seclusion as soon as he returned. It was not that he did not want to see Lanya, but that he had a lot of things to take care of. He wanted to upgrade his twin wings of the heavenly clouds and check his gains. From Gongshikui's ring, Ningcheng obtained 2 billion green coins, along with a large number of materials, healing pills, and many starry sky crystals for cultivation. In addition, there was also a celestial river-class void battleship without much combat power. According to Ruan Mingshu, it was a knockoff. Kirk's ring, in addition to 1 billion green coins, also contained a pile of starry sky crystals, many artifact crafting materials, several weapons, and a celestial-grade battleship. To cultivate within the starry skies, one generally had to find a place with abundant starry sky essence chi to go into seclusion. Or one could use starry sky crystals. Starry sky crystals were somewhat similar to the true cultivation world's spirit stones. The essence chi and spiritual chi contained within them were much more potent compared to spirit stones. However, for low-leveled cultivators, the best thing to cultivate within the starry skies was not starry sky crystals, but medicinal pills formed from starry sky essence chi, or perpetual moon pills. The conditions for the formation of perpetual moon pills were harsh, which made them many times more expensive compared to starry sky crystals. Moreover, the higher one's cultivation, the worse the effects of perpetual moon pills. The starry skies also contained higher-grade natural medicinal pills. However, Ningcheng had never come into contact with them. Ningcheng calculated that he had close to 10 billion green coins on him. Although this amount of money could not buy cultivation resources for a long time, it was still a good amount for Ningcheng. Ruan Mingshu had just walked into the room when she saw a few flashes of multicolored light inside Ningcheng's room. She frowned. Ningcheng's room had flashed with lightning a few moments ago, which made her think that Ningcheng had a thunder spiritual root. Did Ningcheng obtain another treasure from that multicolored light? Ningcheng felt helpless. The restrictions around his room were arranged by Ruan Mingshu. Although he could dismantle Ruan Mingshu's restrictions and replace them himself, it would be too obvious. He was staying in Ruan Mingshu's room, yet he still wanted to dismantle her restrictions and replace them. Wouldn't it show that he did not trust the other party? Therefore, he could only place an isolation restriction inside Ruan Mingshu's restrictions. Although this isolation restriction isolated his cultivation aura, it could not isolate some of the multicolored lights. When Ruan Mingshu came back, Ningcheng felt that his twin wings of the heavenly clouds had just evolved, but he immediately put it away. The twin wings of the heavenly clouds now had 3 pairs of multicolored lights, which meant that the speed of his twin wings of the heavenly clouds had once again improved to a whole new level. If he could find the wishful treasure light silk and the sky treasure silk, his twin wings of the heavenly clouds would have 5 pairs of multicolored lights. Ningcheng knew that when the twin wings of the heavenly clouds had 6 pairs of multicolored lights, the twin wings of the heavenly clouds would undergo a qualitative change. Unfortunately, Ningcheng did not know how to turn the multicolored lights of the twin wings of the heavenly clouds into 6 pairs. He only knew the method to upgrade the twin wings of the heavenly clouds to 5 pairs of multicolored lights. The restriction at the entrance turned passive. Ningqing quickly opened the restriction and spoke up with a smile. So it turns out to be junior apprentice sister Mingxiu. Previously, when Lanya and Shi Yulan came to Ningcheng, Lanya and Shi Yulan immediately retreated after seeing the secluded cultivation sign on his door. Wan Mingxiu looked more reasonable than Lanya and Shi Yulan. However, she took the initiative to disturb Ningcheng's cultivation. I saw a flash of light inside your room. I guessed that you were refining a magical weapon, so I decided to come in for a bit. I hope I won't disturb senior apprentice brother Ning. Wan Mingxiu gave a slight bow and spoke in a gentle voice. Ningqing waved his hand. No, how could I? I just bought a good magical weapon and had just finished refining it. Does junior apprentice sister Mingxiu want to come in and sit down? Wan Mingxiu's brows seemed to show some worry. She hesitated for a moment before speaking. Senior apprentice brother Ning, can you accompany me for a walk? Naturally. Ningqing spoke up without hesitation. No matter what Wan Mingxiu wanted, he did not want to refuse. He had borrowed an array disc from Wan Mingxiu, which he had left outside the city. Wan Mingxiu had a tall stature and looked very cold and elegant. Moreover, her unparalleled elegance and beautiful face clearly showed that she came from a noble background. In contrast, Ningcheng, who walked beside her, did not look very eye-catching. When the two of them walked into a rest stop, they immediately attracted a lot of attention. Alas, a fresh flower stuck in dog shit. A pretty girl at the corner of the rest stop shook her head and spoke with some disdain. Sitting next to her was a woman wearing a veil, which gave her a dignified and virtuous appearance. She gave a slight smile and spoke. Cece, you're wrong this time. Don't look at that male cultivator with only a celestial novice cultivation. His temperament is definitely not worse than that female cultivator. It's just that he deliberately converged his aura, essence, chi and spirit, making him look unremarkable. If I'm not wrong, he is a perfect body-forging cultivator. Really? I heard that this kind of body-forging cultivator has an absolutely perfect body. I wonder what he is like. The girl exclaimed and spoke with a somewhat love-struck tone. Don't be a busybody. The revolving Jade City is filled with crouching tigers and hidden dragons, with experts everywhere. Don't look down on anyone. Another woman spoke up with a straight face. Today at the Celestial Forest Arena, a Starry Skies wanderer with Celestial Novice cultivation easily killed the 2 champions on the 19th battle ring. Before this, who would have believed it? Elder sister Qingyu, I know. The girl stuck out her tongue. At this moment, 2 more people walked into the rest stop. One of them had a head full of wild hair, and had just stepped through the door of the rest stop when he laughed and spoke. Waiter, 2 pots of none to depend on. I want the blue pot. Junior apprentice sister Mingxiu, is there a real none to depend on here? Ningqing quickly whispered on hearing this voice. Wan Mingxiu showed a faint smile. There is no real none to depend on in the entire striking order Starry Skies. This blue pot's none to depend on is just a high-level imitation. Ningqing shook his head. How come this starry sky was filled with counterfeit goods? Rats eat barley. The girl who had spoken disdainfully to Ningqing once again spoke out in an untimely manner. However, her voice was a little louder, allowing Ningqing to hear it. Chapter 515. Courting Death. The wild-haired man sent out a slap. The wild-haired man had an undead realm cultivation. Therefore, this slap contained a powerful celestial essence that turned all the seats between him and the young girl into flying ash. Ningcheng and Wan Mingxiu, who were standing so far away, could feel the powerful domain binding them. From this, one could imagine that the young girl, who was only in the celestial novice realm, definitely did not have a good ending. Ningqing shook his head. This celestial novice girl's mouth was a bit off. When he and Wan Mingxiu came in, this young girl had already said that flowers were stuck in dog shit. Ningcheng was only in the celestial novice realm. As such, he did not care about others talking about him like that. Not everyone was willing to be talked about in such a manner. This young girl had ended up provoking a ruthless person in just a blink of an eye. Although fighting was not allowed in the revolving Jade City, It also depended on the situation. Once a junior with low cultivation took the initiative to insult a person with a higher cultivation, it would not be a problem even if they were killed. This law applied in any city, not just the revolving jade city. Just when everyone thought that the girl was going to be killed, the veiled woman suddenly stood up and slapped the girl's face. Boom. Violent true essence blasted together. Once such a powerful celestial essence raged, it would definitely turn the entire rest stop into dust. One could imagine that after this exchange, the rest stop would either cease to exist or turn into a pile of ruins. At this moment, a white-robed young man sitting on the other side raised his hand, and the celestial essence that filled the sky immediately dissipated. It seemed that this young man had grabbed all of it. The rest stop remained safe and sound, with only some of the seats destroyed by the wild-haired man's attack. At this moment, not to mention Ning Cheng, even the rest of the guests in the rest stop turned silent. This powerful strength definitely belonged to a heaven-seated powerhouse. A heaven-seated powerhouse had appeared in a small rest stop. Moreover, this powerhouse looked so young and handsome. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh in his heart. He only had a small celestial novice cultivation, and was still struggling in the arena. However, this young and handsome male cultivator had a cultivation in the heaven-seated realm. People really could not be compared with each other. Not to mention this young man from the Revolutionary Army. Even that woman with a veil over her face, although he could not see her cultivation, it seemed that she was at least in the undead realm. Otherwise, she would not have been able to block that wild-haired man. This junior acted in front of senior. I ask senior to punish me. The wild-haired man came to his senses. He had acted in front of a heaven-seated cultivator, and the other party could have easily killed him. The wild-haired man waved his hand. It's none of your business. Go and drink. The wild-haired man quickly thanked him, before carefully walking towards the shop assistant, taking out a stack of blue coins and speaking, "This is my compensation." After paying the blue coins, the wild-haired man no longer dared to stay in this place. He quickly turned around and left the rest stop. After the wild-haired man left, he man and the rest stop. It's fine. Your sister is very naive. You don't have to worry about such trivial matters. If you Shan said. If said he and I and said. Said I and said. The said. After saying that, the woman quickly retreated and whispered to the young girl beside her. If you do this again, I'll take you back. The wild-haired man did not care about it and stood up. It looked like he planned to leave. The rest stop's assistant also came over to thank him, but the wild-haired man still smiled and waved his hand. The rest stop's assistant also came over to thank him, but the wild-haired man still smiled and waved his hand. However, when he arrived in front of Ning Cheng, he suddenly smiled at Ning Cheng. Brother, you have a good vision. You have to work hard. After that, he showed a charming smile to Ruan Mingshu before slowly walking out of the rest stop. After the wild-haired man left, the atmosphere in the rest stop returned to normal. Junior apprentice Sister Mingshu, it looks like I'm a bit eye-catching walking together with you. Haha. Ning Cheng showed a self-deprecating smile. However, he felt extremely angry in his heart. He and this wild-haired man did not know each other. Yet this wild-haired man left a spiritual consciousness mark on him. It was simply inexplicable. It was an extremely well-hidden spiritual consciousness mark. Ning Cheng felt sure that if he did not have a starry sky sea of consciousness, and if his sea of consciousness had not gone through the nirvana thunder tribulation, even if he reached the celestial bridge realm, he might not be able to identify this mark. Ruan Mingshu showed a faint smile. Senior apprentice brother Ning, that's because he doesn't know about it. I'm not in a good mood today, so I just wanted to come out for a drink. What would you like to drink? Spiritual tea or spiritual wine? I drank the black pot of none to depend on. Now that there is a blue pot here, I also want to try it. Ning Cheng's heart surged with strong longing, whether it was Ruolin, Luofei or Cheonghua. Perhaps this none to depend on could give him a temporary break. Okay, please bring us 2 blue pots of none to depend on. After Ruan Mingshu called out to the waiter, she and Ning Cheng walked to a table by the window and sat down. Ning Cheng felt a little absent-minded. He was thinking about why the wild-haired man wanted to place a spiritual consciousness mark on him. It was impossible for someone to discover the mysterious yellow bead on his body. Once someone discovered the mysterious yellow bead, that wild-haired man would immediately kill him and take away his things. What made him even more anxious was that the spiritual consciousness mark was constantly penetrating his robes. Once it penetrated into his body, he would have to remove it immediately. It was not that he did not want to remove the spiritual consciousness mark right now, but this spiritual consciousness mark was something left behind by a heaven-seated expert. If a celestial novice cultivator knew that someone had placed a spiritual consciousness mark on him, then the consequences would be even worse. Cece, didn't you just say that that person was a piece of dog shit with a flower stuck in it? I really want to pour a pot of wine on him. The veiled woman suddenly sent a sound transmission to the young girl next to her. The young girl looked at the veiled woman in surprise and spoke. Elder Sister Chinyu, I didn't expect that a gentle and demure person like you would have a little devil in your heart. Don't be angry, I'll help you. Before she finished speaking, the young girl had already grabbed a pot of wine and walked towards Ningcheng. However, she had just arrived at Ningcheng's side when she staggered and poured the entire pot of wine onto Ningcheng. Oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it. The young girl looked at Ningcheng in surprise and spoke, without even a shred of apology in her eyes. The veiled woman also quickly came over and pulled the young girl and spoke. Cece, what are you doing? After that, she looked at Ningcheng apologetically and spoke. This friend, I'm really sorry. Cece is not sensible and ended up getting your clothes wet. You can change your clothes. I'll help you clean up your clothes. Even Ruan Mingshu, who had always been very gentle, had an ugly expression on her face. This young girl obviously did it on purpose. No cultivator would casually let go of such a thing, otherwise they would be too weak. Ningcheng snorted, took off his outer robes and threw it to the side, before speaking with a cold face. I can't even afford a single piece of clothing, no need. Saying that, he quickly took out a coat and put it on, feeling happy in his heart. This matter was just too much of a coincidence. He was just thinking about how to throw away his coat when a pot of wine suddenly appeared. Ruan Mingshu also stood up and spoke to the veiled woman in a cold voice. Although you are a senior, you deliberately indulge the people around you to make fun of others. Do you think that you can act without scruples in the revolving Jade City, just because of your cultivation? The young girl who poured the wine on Ningcheng gave a snort. You don't know a good person. The veiled woman stopped the young girl again and spoke to Ningcheng and Ruan Mingshu apologetically. I'm not a senior. I'm just a celestial gatherer cultivator. I just used a talisman to block that person. Ningcheng immediately understood. No wonder he could not see that this veiled woman had an undead cultivation. It turned out that she had used a talisman just now. Forget it. Little sister, you should be careful with your words and actions in the future. Not everyone is as easy to talk to as me. Ningcheng also stopped Ruan Mingshu, who was about to continue speaking. This person had helped him, whether it was intentional or unintentional, it was a good thing. He had already expressed his anger and magnanimity, so it was enough for him. Many thanks for this friend's magnanimity. We will take our leave now. Cece, let's go. I will not bring you out again next time. The veiled woman once again apologetically bowed to Ningcheng before pulling the young girl out of the rest stop. Ningcheng's spiritual consciousness had always been focused on the two of them. It was not until the two of them reached the door that he heard the young girl named Cece mumble. Elder Sister Chinyu, didn't you say that you wanted to pour wine on that man to vent your anger? Why did you apologize to him? Hearing these words, Ningcheng immediately understood that this person really wanted to help him. He also did not know how the veiled woman knew that he had a restriction placed on him. Moreover, why did she want to help him? The two of them did not know each other at all. Let's go back. With all these things happening, I'm not in the mood to drink anymore. Ningcheng did not want to stay in this place the moment she placed a spiritual consciousness tag on him. Now that he had lost his clothes, he wanted to leave as soon as possible. Okay. Ruan Mingshu spoke out softly, but did not forget to buy the 2 pots of wine sent by the waiter. She then whispered to Ningcheng, let's go to my room to drink. Even if it's fake wine, I still want to taste it. Yuan Mingshu's tone was gentle with a hint of indescribable charm. Even if Ning Cheng did not want to think about it, he could not do anything about it. Hey, what's going on? Jingshan, can you help me go to that rest stop and see why that male cultivator left his clothes in the rest stop? On the busiest street of the revolving Jade City, a white-robed young man suddenly stopped with a frown and spoke to the person next to him. Yes, the middle-aged man next to him responded and quickly left. A moment later, the middle-aged man came back to the white-robed young man and spoke, replying to Master. The girl who caused the accident in the rest stop deliberately poured a pot of wine on that male cultivator, causing the male cultivator to throw away his clothes. The two sides almost clashed because of this matter. The white-robed young man nodded and spoke, then forget it. Just consider him lucky. He did not doubt this matter. That girl was a troublemaker. Previously, he had said that a flower was stuck in dog shit, so it was normal for her to make a move. Chapter 516. Ning Cheng, if you had enough cultivation resources, would you still participate in the Striking Order Starry Skies tryouts? Yuan Mingshu drank more than half a pot of wine, causing her face to turn slightly red. Her eyes sparkled with moisture, making her look even more beautiful. At this moment, she stared at Ning Cheng and did not even address him as senior apprentice brother Ning. Ning Cheng took a sip of wine and did not look at Yuan Mingshu's face. Instead, he pretended to look around Yuan Mingshu's room. This room was filled with the longing of a young girl, and even the color was pink. Not necessarily. Participating in the tryouts is also a form of experiential learning. I heard that there are many geniuses in the Striking Order Starry Skies. Exchanging moves with these geniuses would definitely help you improve. Ning Cheng put down the wine pot. Although this wine was a knockoff, it still made people feel a strong sense of parting. Ning Cheng, if I had a lot of cultivation resources, would you be willing to elope with me? Yuan Mingshu's words seemed to have come from the depths of the earth. Ning Cheng looked at Yuan Mingshu in surprise. Junior apprentice Sister Mingshu, if I'm not mistaken, you should not have taken a liking to a person like me, right? Why would you choose me to elope with you? Ning Cheng found that the people who drank none to depend on wine were somewhat similar. The current Yuan Mingshu and the previous Jing Wuming. Yuan Mingshu acted as if she did not hear Ning Cheng's words, and looked at Ning Cheng with lonely eyes. Ning Cheng felt sure that her gaze was not on his face. After a long time, she muttered to herself, often apart, the heart does not abandon, distant stars, none to depend on. The first half of the sentence must be wrong. Often apart, the heart has long since abandoned. Ning Cheng understood that Yuan Mingshu eloped with him not because she really liked him, but because she had someone she liked. She wanted to elope to see that person. Unfortunately, her father wanted her to look for the perpetual moon lake. It seems that even if he agreed, Yuan Mingshu would not elope with him. Ning Cheng shook his head, slowly stood up and left Yuan Mingshu's room alone. Yuan Mingshu did not feel anything and continued muttering. After a while, she sobered up and looked at the empty seat across from her. She sighed and murmured, if only you could suddenly take me and elope with me. You are a good person, I'm not. The revolving Jade City had more than one arena. However, the most famous one right now was the Celestial Forest Arena. A Starry Skies Wanderer had arrived at the 19th battle ring of this arena. Although this Starry Skies Wanderer did not possess a celestial wheel, he had not suffered a single defeat in the past few days. Because of this, even individual Celestial Gatherer cultivators came to challenge the 19th battle ring, something that was rarely seen. Generally speaking, Celestial Gatherer cultivators cherish their feathers and rarely challenge Celestial Novice and Celestial Shatterer cultivators. This was because this kind of challenge not only required the approval of the arena master with a lower cultivation, but also required the payment of a higher cultivation to challenge a lower cultivation in star coins. It would be fine if he won, but it would be ugly if he lost. Moreover, most of those who came to the arena were here to temper themselves. Who would be willing to challenge someone with a lower cultivation? It was a thankless task. What made the 19th battle ring even more famous was that the Celestial Gatherer cultivator, who came to challenge it, ended up defeated here. Additionally, When the arena lord of Arena 19 made his move, there was a formidable will within it. Every one of the spectating cultivators benefited greatly from it. By now, the Celestial Forest Arena's 19th battle ring had become famous throughout almost half of the revolving Jade City. Every day, the audience tickets for the 19th battle ring were sold out. Not only that, there were also many additional standing tickets. Even so, more and more cultivators wanted to go to the 19th battle ring to watch the fights. Some people even started to queue up to buy tickets for the 19th battle ring. Similarly, some of the cultivators who wanted to enter the 19th battle ring also had to queue up. The cultivators who wanted to challenge the 19th battle ring had to accept the selection of the 19th battle ring's master. Even the Celestial Forest Arena's 3 undefeated battle rings. Because of the new arena lord, the popularity of the 19th battle ring had also fallen. Ningqing felt very satisfied recently. He had gained a lot in the arena. He had seen a variety of spirit techniques, as well as a variety of fighting styles. Fighting in this place had allowed him to grow rapidly. Because of the power of the mysterious yellow formless, he could even operate his cultivation method and cultivate while fighting. This kind of fighting allowed his cultivation and strength to advance by leaps and bounds. Most of the opponents who came to challenge him were either Celestial Shatterer cultivators or Celestial Novice cultivators. However, even a Celestial Gatherer cultivator came. Although his strength was not as good as Gongshi Kuei and Kirk, it still could not compare to an iPhone. As such, Ningqing did not feel any pressure at all. The cultivators within the starry skies, even if they were on the same level, had a huge difference in strength. However, Ningqing tried not to pick a Celestial Gatherer cultivator. Even if he had a starry skies sea of consciousness, he did not want to take the risk. The Celestial Forest Arena had approached him several times to sign a contract, but he had rejected them all. He could only stay in this battle ring for a month at most. After a month he would leave. How could he sign a contract with the Celestial Forest Arena? However, he did not hesitate to accept the cave allocated to him by the arena. Sometimes after a fight, he would stay here and cultivate. In addition to this reason, there was another reason that made Ningqing feel embarrassed to go back. He had lost the Grade 4 Celestial River Array disc that he had borrowed from Ruan Mingxiu. The price of a Grade 4 Celestial River Array disc was not a small one or two. Ningqing did not know how to explain it to Ruan Mingxiu, and could only delay it day by day. It was already the 11th day since Ningqing occupied the 19th battle ring. However, the people from the Celestial Forest Arena came to his residence before he went to the battle ring. At this time, Ningqing's cultivation had already reached the middle stage Celestial Novice realm. If he cultivated step by step, Ningqing felt sure that he could not progress so quickly. Cultivation progress was secondary. The most important thing was that his strength had grown a lot stronger compared to before. Ningqing knew the person who came. It was a steward of the Celestial Forest Arena, called Zeng Chuxiong. Dao friend wanderer, you don't have to go to the battle ring today. Zeng Chuxiong's first words on seeing Ningqing was to tell him not to go to the battle ring. This made Ningqing feel strange. If he went to the battle ring, the arena would definitely make a lot of money. Why would they stop him? Why? Steward Zeng? Zeng Chuxiong smiled and spoke to Ningqing. The Gale Arena's first champion is coming to our Celestial Forest Arena to challenge him. This match will cause a sensation throughout the revolving Jade City. You can rest for 2 days and then participate in this match. You will also become famous throughout the revolving Jade City because of this match, and even the entire Orchid Burrow Celestial River. Ningqing spoke up with a calm voice. I might even fall in this match and turn into ashes. Asking him to fight against a Celestial Gatherer powerhouse, unless his brain was damaged. Ordinary Celestial Gatherer cultivators were not even comparable to Celestial Shatterer cultivators. But facing a real Celestial Gatherer powerhouse, how could he fight? Would he die? Zeng Chuxiong showed an awkward smile. Dao friend wanderer, with your ability, you would never lose to that Suo Qiaoya. That fellow is just a madman with a simple mind. Moreover, as long as you win this match, you will have a blue coin that you can't even imagine. Ningqing sneered in his heart. How could a simple-minded person become the champion? He did not have any contract with the Celestial Forest Arena, As such, he really wanted to find a variety of people to challenge. However, risking his life to earn money for others, and even helping others count the money, was not something he was willing to do. Steward Zeng, the Celestial Forest Arena has many experts. Even the champions of the 1st, 12th and 15th battle rings are stronger than me. All of them are Celestial Gatherer powerhouses. Moreover, they have a contract with the Celestial Forest Arena, so why not let these powerhouses compete? What if you let a nobody like me do it? Ning Cheng spoke in a calm tone. He believed that Zeng Chuxiong could understand his words. The 3 battle rings he mentioned each had a single champion, which meant that they were the 3 most powerful champions of the Celestial Forest Arena. As for the contract, it was to remind Zeng Chuxiong that he, Ning Cheng, was free. If he did not want to compete, then he would leave. With your popularity and cultivation, you are the best candidate to represent our Celestial Forest Arena. Besides, do you really not want to compete? This time, the prize is 500 billion blue coins, which is equivalent to 5 billion green coins. With 5 billion green coins, you can buy countless good things in the striking order starry skies. Zeng Chuxiong spoke carefully. He felt helpless in his heart. If the Celestial Forest Arena had someone with a Celestial Novice cultivation who could beat Suo Qiaoye, why would he come to Ningcheng to beg for his father's name? Ningcheng remained unmoved. 5 billion green coins was indeed a lot. But that was only for ordinary Celestial Scryer cultivators. For him, 5 billion green coins could not even afford a real Celestial River-class battleship. If you are willing to fight, I will allow you to raise any condition, as long as it is not too excessive, and my Celestial Forest Arena can fulfill it. Another voice interjected. Zeng Chuxiong turned around and saw the newcomer before quickly bowing and speaking, Arena Master. The newcomer was the Celestial Forest Arena's Arena Master. Ningcheng also knew this person, so he quickly cupped his fists and spoke, Wanderer greets Arena Master. The newcomer nodded and spoke. What do you think of my proposal? Ningcheng hesitated for a moment before speaking in a slow voice. No matter what the conditions are, I only have a Celestial Novice cultivation. I will not fight against a Celestial Gatherer champion. I hope that Arena Master can understand. The Arena Master froze for a moment before laughing and speaking. Who told you that the other party has a Celestial Gatherer cultivation? That person also has a Celestial Novice cultivation. If the Gale Arena uses a Celestial Gatherer champion to challenge my Celestial Forest Arena's Celestial Novice champion, it would mean that they would lose before the fight even started. Celestial Novice cultivation? Can a Celestial Novice cultivation become the first champion? Ningcheng asked in doubt. Who was he trying to deceive? The Arena Master finally understood that Ningcheng did not know anything about the first champion. He patiently explained. The lower the cultivation of an arena's champion, the more famous he becomes. The arena's main purpose is to make money. If someone with a top-notch cultivation becomes the champion, it would not make any sense. The arena's champion is a comprehensive evaluation of strength and cultivation. The lower your cultivation, the stronger you are, the more attractive you will be, and the higher your ranking will be. You should also understand why your 19th battle ring is so popular. It is because you can challenge people on a higher level, which is something that people want to see. The reason why the Gale Arena overshadows my Celestial Forest Arena is because they have a Celestial Novice powerhouse, Suo Qiaoye. Recently, you have become famous in the Celestial Forest Arena, which has stolen a lot of the Gale Arena's popularity. Therefore, people want to challenge you. Chapter 517. So that was the case. From the looks of it, in the arena, those with low cultivation and high strength would attract the most attention. He had said that he was just a Celestial Novice cultivator, and that most of the opponents he challenged were Celestial Shatterer cultivators. Moreover, there was only one Celestial Gatherer cultivator among them. How did his fame spread so quickly? The arena's champion rankings were based on their ability to challenge opponents on a higher level. Once you could skip levels, as long as you became the champion, you could then choose your opponent. If a Celestial Gatherer cultivator came to challenge you, you could either refuse or agree. Among the 3 most powerful champions of the Celestial Forest Arena, 2 of them were Celestial Gatherer Cultivators, while the other was Celestial Shatterer Cultivator. No wonder the Arena Master wanted him to fight. Using a Celestial Gatherer champion to fight against someone else's Celestial Novice champion. Even if he won, it would not bring any glory, and not many people would come to watch. If that Swordsmanship really had a Celestial Novice cultivation, he would not have to worry too much. Even if the other party was a late-stage Celestial Novice cultivator, so what? Thinking of this, Ningqing spoke up. If you have the Wishful Treasure Light Silk and the Sky Treasure Silk, plus 5 billion green coins, I am willing to compete. For him, fighting against a Celestial Novice powerhouse was not something he feared. Now that he had some benefits, he could agree to it. As for whether he would become famous or not, he did not care about it at all. This appearance was not his real appearance. The Arena Master pondered for a moment before speaking. The Sky Treasure Silk is too precious, and I do not have it. However, I can help you get the Wishful Treasure Light Silk. Ningqing spoke up without hesitation. Deal, I am willing to compete. But I want the Wishful Treasure Light Silk now. He did not want to compete, not only because he did not want to fight against a Celestial Gatherer powerhouse, but also because he did not want to be used by others. He did not want to risk his life to help others earn money. If the Celestial Forest Arena could bring out the Wishful Treasure Light Silk, it would be a different story. As long as there was the Wishful Treasure Light Silk, his twin wings of the heavenly clouds would immediately upgrade to 4 rays of light, which was a life-saving measure for him. Okay, the Wishful Treasure Light Silk will be delivered tomorrow. You can rest for the next 2 days. In the next 2 days, we will promote this matter throughout the revolving Jade City. 2 days later, you and the Gale Arena's Suo Qiaoye will have a showdown at the Celestial Forest Arena. Dao Friend Wanderer, this time, my Celestial Forest Arena will be relying on you. The Arena Master spoke in a straightforward manner. Owner, rest assured, as long as I get what I want, I will definitely go all out. Ningqing saw the opportunity and expressed his determination. Now that there were benefits to be gained, he might as well risk his life. Ningqing did not go out. Rather, he stayed in the Immortal Cave to temper his cultivation and spiritual consciousness. At the same time, he planned to retreat immediately after this battle. If he could kill Suo Qiaoye, he would definitely become famous. However, since he had already concealed his identity, becoming famous would not be a good thing for him. What Ningqing didn't expect was that before the Wishful Treasure Light Paste arrived, someone else came to his cave. He also knew who this person was, Shi Yulan. Ningqing opened the restrictions over the Immortal Cave and looked at Shi Yulan's tightly wrapped body, causing him to frown slightly. Even if Celestial River King Shang Mao temporarily left the revolving Jade City, he believed that Shi Yulan should not come out at this time. Seeing Ningqing frowning, Shi Yulan quickly spoke up. Wanderer, you probably don't know me. My name is Shi Yulan, and I like watching your matches the most. Moreover, my senior apprentice sister has 2 enemies which you helped me deal with. Today, I came to see you for something. It might be a bit presumptuous, but... So she came in as a fan. Ningqing had to speak up. Then please come in and have a seat. Did you come to see me for something? Ningqing looked at the nervous Shi Yulan sitting across from him and asked with a smile. Shi Yulan truly felt nervous. She knew that Starry Skies Wanderers were free and unruly. For these Starry Skies Wanderers, women only had one role, to vent. Because of this, most Starry Skies Wanderers' male cultivators had no respect for female cultivators. It's just that she worshipped this Starry Skies Wanderer too much. From this Starry Skies Wanderer, she understood many concepts that she couldn't comprehend even if she went into seclusion. Every time she watched a match, her cultivation would improve. It's just that during Ningqing's matches, to avoid trouble, he never used his spiritual consciousness to sweep outside the battle ring. As such, he didn't know that she was watching the matches. Ningqing's polite question stunned her for a moment. This Starry Skies Wanderer seemed a bit different. I heard that you are going to fight against Gale Arena's Suo Qiaoye, so I came here specifically to tell you not to fall for the Celestial Forest Arena's tricks. You can't agree to this fight. Shi Yulan felt Ningqing's calmness, and her nervous mood calmed down a bit. Oh, why? I heard that Suo Qiaoye is just a celestial novice cultivator. Why can't I agree? Ning Qing asked in a calm voice. Ning Cheng's calmness made Shi Yulan's nervousness disappear completely. Dao friend wanderer, that Suo Qiaoye is extremely powerful. I heard that he killed more than one celestial gatherer cultivator. Moreover, I heard that his chess realm has reached a very profound level. Even celestial bridge cultivators sometimes cannot peek into his chess realm. His chess realm? Ning Qing asked in doubt. Shi Yulan nodded affirmatively. Yes, his weapon is a chessboard with only 3 chess pieces on it. According to rumors, every time his cultivation improves, the number of chess pieces increases by a lot. According to some people, he has more than 3 chess pieces. Only a celestial gatherer cultivator can force him to use more chess pieces. By the way, I brought the crystal ball recording of his fight with a celestial shatterer powerhouse. Why did you help me? Ning Qing looked at Shi Yulan and felt very puzzled in his heart. Even if he helped Lanya take revenge, Shi Yulan would not help him. If someone said that Shi Yulan recognized him, Ning Qing would never believe it. A flawed middle-grade Dao artifact was still a middle-grade Dao artifact. If a puny celestial gatherer cultivator could see through the essence of this middle-grade Dao artifact, then this middle-grade Dao artifact was just too worthless. Shi Yulan's face turned red before she stood up and spoke. I don't know. I'm leaving. If you really want to fight, you have to be careful. Shi Yulan hurriedly walked out of the immortal cave, and Ning Cheng's grateful voice came from behind. She really did not know why she wanted to help this person. However, this Starry Skies wanderer's strength on the battle ring had truly shocked her. Moreover, that bearded Starry Skies aura gave off an illusory feeling. What she did not know was that her feeling was not wrong. Ning Cheng's appearance was illusory, and such a person did not exist at all. After Shi Yulan left, Ning Qing immediately opened the crystal ball she brought with her. Suo Qiaoye's appearance appeared in front of Ning Qing, which surprised Ning Qing. He had initially thought that Suo Qiaoye would have the same appearance as his current appearance, a rough and unkempt man with a full beard. Because Tseng Chuxiong had said that Suo Qiaoye was a madman without any brains. But the truth was that Suo Qiaoye looked like a pretty boy who looked a bit thinner than him. He was a bit thin and sported short hair. However, when he spoke to his opponent with cupped fists, his expression looked extremely fierce. The crystal ball could not record celestial wheels. As such, Ning Qing could not see Suo Qiaoye's cultivation from the crystal ball. Presumably, the Celestial Forest Arena's arena master would not lie to him, which meant that he should have a celestial novice cultivation. Suo Qiaoye's opponent did not have a tall stature, and was also a young cultivator. After the two people cupped their fists and spoke a few words, Suo Qiaoye immediately started. Ning Qing saw that Suo Qiaoye brought out a weapon, and found that it was indeed a chessboard with only 3 chess pieces on it. Suo Qiaoye's opponent's weapon was a pair of cross-shaped swords. After bringing out this pair of cross-shaped swords, the entire sky was filled with cross-shaped sword shadows. As soon as these cross-shaped sword shadows came out, Suo Qiaoye looked as if he was about to be submerged in these sword shadows. However, Suo Qiaoye's hand shook, and 2 chess pieces flew out. The 2 chess pieces quickly spun around the cross-shaped sword shadows and quickly formed a huge vortex. The vortex spun faster and faster, and in just a few breaths, it swallowed up the cross-shaped sword shadows. The cultivator wielding the cross-shaped swords immediately felt the shackles, and hurriedly retreated in panic. However, a huge iron wall blocked his path, which was Suo Qiaoye's chessboard. The next moment, the only remaining chess piece turned into a giant mountain. This giant mountain fell down, and directly smashed the cultivator wielding the cross-shaped swords into pieces. The entire battle ended in a clean and neat manner, without even the slightest pause. What a powerful fellow. Ning Qing put away the crystal ball, and took in a deep breath. This Suo Qiaoye's strength was beyond his imagination. Moreover, Ning Qing felt sure that Suo Qiaoye had only displayed less than half of his strength. However, Ning Qing could not see any intent realm from Suo Qiaoye's chessboard and chess pieces. Bright just resting pen. Lanya stared at Shi Yulan for a long time before speaking. Yulan, are you crazy? You often sneak out to the arena to watch the matches these days. But how can you go around asking people to buy Suo Qiaoya's crystal ball? Do you know how dangerous it is to do so? If Celestial River King Shang Mao found out about it, you would definitely die. Not only would you die, but Ning Cheng, who helped you, would also die. Shi Yulan grabbed Lanya's hand in embarrassment and shook it before speaking. I'm sorry, Senior Apprentice Sister Lan. I went to watch Wanderers matches these past few days, and my understanding of Intent Realm has indeed improved a lot. Besides, Celestial River King Shang Mao has already left the revolving Jade City. Why would he care about such a trivial matter? A trivial matter? You were once a woman taken away by him. And you call this a trivial matter? Lanya spoke up speechlessly. Shi Yulan spoke up with an ugly expression on her face. Senior Apprentice Sister Lan, don't speak so harshly. It's true that I left with him. But I'm not his woman. I am me, and he is him. You're so beautiful and attractive that even I can't help but want to sleep with you. Do you think that Celestial River King Shang Mao will let you go? Don't lie to me. Lanya spoke up in an angry tone. Shi Yulan's expression turned even uglier. Although Celestial River King Shang Mao is despicable, he also has the pride of a Celestial River King. Moreover, he does not lack beautiful women. His women would automatically throw themselves into his arms. Do you think that he would take the initiative to ask a woman to sleep with him? Well, I'm wrong. I'll sleep with you for the night. Lanya, on seeing Shi Yulan truly angry, quickly comforted her. You should go and sleep with Senior Apprentice Brother Ning for the night. I don't want it. Shi Yulan's anger came and went quickly. Lanya showed a smile and spoke in a calm tone. He and I are not the same kind of person. You and he are more compatible. Shi Yulan looked in the direction of the arena for a while before her eyes showed a trace of sadness. He and I are not the same kind of person. Senior Apprentice Sister Lan, after this tryout, let's go wander the starry skies. Maybe it would be good to be a starry skies wanderer. Chapter 518. What was the most lively thing in the revolving Jade City today? It was not an auction, nor was it the Orchid Burrow Celestial River's Genius tryouts, because it had not arrived yet. Rather, it was the fight between the two major arenas of the revolving Jade City. The challenger was Gale Arena's Suo Qiaoya, while the other was Wanderer, who had recently gained the limelight in the Celestial Forest Arena. That's right, these were two Celestial Novice Cultivators. If it were just a fight between two Celestial Novice Cultivators, then this match would not have anything to look forward to. Moreover, these two Celestial Novice Cultivators were not ordinary Celestial Novice Cultivators, and could even challenge those on a higher level. There were many Celestial Novice Cultivators who could challenge Celestial Shatterer Cultivators. However, Celestial Novice Cultivators who could challenge and kill Celestial Gatherer Cultivators were extremely rare. Moreover, the two people in today's duel were both Celestial Novice powerhouses who had once killed a Celestial Gatherer Cultivator. One was a Wanderer who had just arrived from the starry sky, while the other was the Gale Arena's #1 arena lord. Any cultivator in the starry skies would have a deep understanding of how difficult it was to challenge someone of a higher realm. Even in cultivation, every level was an insurmountable gap, not to mention challenging a higher level with a lower level of cultivation. For a Celestial Novice Cultivator to jump ranks to challenge a Celestial Gatherer powerhouse, it was not as simple as jumping ranks. This was related to attributes, domains, intents, divine abilities, and other factors. Apart from that, the most important requirement was to be a genius. If you're not a genius, it doesn't matter how many factors you have. Because of this, a Celestial Novice battle ring between two Celestial Gatherer Cultivators attracted a lot of attention. It even attracted some Celestial River level cultivators to come and watch the fight. To the two dueling arenas, this battle wasn't just about the astral coins they were betting on. Rather, it involved the reputation of both dueling arenas. After the Celestial Forest Arena's steward Zhang accompanied Ning Cheng to the arena, Ning Cheng found that all the battle rings in the arena had turned into spectator seats, except for the 19th battle ring. However, Arena 19 had been enlarged, making it even more conspicuous. Regarding this battle, Ning Cheng did not think much about it. He had seen Suo Qiaoye in action and knew that he was an expert. However, he wasn't too bad. How many cultivators had a starry sky sea of consciousness? How many cultivators had a divine sense as powerful as his? He currently did not have a powerful spiritual consciousness cultivation method. If he had a powerful spiritual consciousness cultivation method, he would even think about whether spiritual consciousness could also be used for tangible attacks. Moreover, this was not the only thing he could rely on. After obtaining the wishful treasure light silk, Ning Cheng's twin wings of the heavenly clouds upgraded to 4 pairs of glowing lights. Previously, the speed of the 3 pairs of scintillating lights had already surprised him. Now that he had 4 pairs of scintillating lights, even if he was not a match for Suo Qiaoye, it would not be easy for the other party to kill him. Striking Order Starry Skies had many geniuses, and Suo Qiaoye might just be a small opponent in his long journey to the Starry Skies. If he couldn't even overcome this puny opponent, then he could forget about tearing apart the positional plane in the future. Moreover, he could forget about going to the most powerful place in the universe to meet elder brother Tsang Wei one day. Dao friend Wanderer, you don't have to worry. That Suo Qiaoye is not as terrifying as the rumors say. Seeing Ningcheng looking around, Seng Chuxiong thought that Ningcheng was worried about Suo Qiaoye and tried to comfort him. Seng Chuxiong guessed that Suo Qiaoye had concealed his abilities. However, his battles were always straightforward, far less elaborate than Ningcheng's plans. Moreover, he guessed that Ningcheng had also concealed some of his abilities. In contrast, he was more optimistic about Ningcheng. Besides, even if the Celestial Forest Arena's Wanderer lost, the impact on the Celestial Forest Arena would not be as great as that of the Gale Arena. The Celestial Forest Arena had already reached an agreement. In case Ningcheng lost, they would announce that Ningcheng had never signed a contract with the arena, which would minimize the impact on the arena. After all, Wanderer had only come to the Celestial Forest Arena for 10 days, while the other party, Suo Qiaoye, had already been here for several years. However, on the other hand, in case the Gale Arena's Suo Qiaoye lost, it would completely ruin the reputation of the Gale Arena, while the reputation of the Celestial Forest Arena would soar. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a duel between 2 celestial novice powerhouses who can challenge those on a higher level. My Celestial Forest Arena's Wanderer and Gale Arena's Suo Qiaoye. The pretty female cultivator on the stage had not finished her words when a violent celestial essence force blasted her to the edge of the battle ring. Get out of the way, I'm here to fight, not to listen to your long-winded words. Wanderer, come on up, I don't have the patience to wait for you. As the pretty female cultivator was pushed to the edge of the battle ring, a rough voice sounded out. The voice sounded like a great bell, loud but not harsh. The cultivator who spoke was a thin young man with a weak stature. This young man was not only thin but also had fair skin. Most of the cultivators watching the fight knew who this person was. It was the Gale Arena's premier champion, Suo Qiaoye. Ningcheng, on seeing Suo Qiaoye come on stage and calling out to him, stood up without any hurry and stepped onto the battle ring. The pretty female cultivator, who had been pushed back by Suo Qiaoye, on seeing the 2 main characters step onto the stage, also retreated. Are you Wanderer? It looks like you had a lot of gains in the Starry Skies. To think that you can even defeat a Celestial Gatherer cultivator. Suo Qiaoye looked at Ningcheng and spoke with a flat tone, his voice as loud as ever. Ningcheng replied with a slightly hoarse voice, That's right, I'm Wanderer. Hurry up, I don't have much time to waste with you. Although Ningcheng spoke with an indifferent tone, he felt very cautious in his heart. Although Suo Qiaoye only had a single celestial wheel behind him, this celestial wheel shone brightly under the stimulation of his celestial essence. Just like a blinding rainbow, it gave off an astonishing, imposing aura. Ha ha ha. Suo Qiaoye suddenly laughed. I've always been the one to say these words to my opponents. I never thought that someone would take the initiative to say these words to me today. Well, I'll fulfill your wish. After saying that, Suo Qiaoye brought out his chessboard, and 2 chess pieces shot towards Ningcheng along with the sound of breaking through the air. Ningcheng raised his hand and brought out the treasured thunder spear. Faint thunder light lingered in his hand, but he did not make a move. The moment the 2 chess pieces approached Ningcheng, they separated from each other, and started spinning rapidly. The speed at which the chess pieces spun grew faster and faster, until one could not even see their shadows. Only a faint ripple-like shape could be seen circling around them. Ning Cheng remained expressionless. After fighting in the battle ring for more than 10 days, he had seen all kinds of cultivators. Coupled with the fact that he had seen Suo Qiaoya's battle crystal ball before, he knew that the ripples formed by these two chess pieces represented his domain. This domain was not like Gongxi Kuei's yellow sand domain. However, it existed between tangible and intangible, making it extremely difficult to grasp. At the same time that Suo Qiaoya's chess piece domain blasted out, Ning Cheng's domain also extended out. Ning Cheng's domain was completely intangible. Half of his domain was built on top of his powerful starry sky sea of consciousness. Ever since he started cultivating, his spiritual consciousness had grown stronger compared to the average cultivator's spiritual consciousness. Later, when he entered the Tian continent from the Lu continent and experienced the heavenly astral turbulence, his spiritual consciousness grew even more powerful. Because of this, he could feel the embryonic form of a domain when he was in the sea-opening realm. Because of this, he had just advanced to the domain realm when his domain reached the grand circle. As soon as the two domains clashed, the surrounding space gave out bursts of caw-caw sounds, as if it was twisting and regrouping. Ning Cheng felt a bit relieved in his heart. Although this Suo Qiaoya was a good opponent, he should still be able to deal with him. However, he did not fully bring out his domain. In this kind of battle, it was necessary to hold back. A bit interesting. Suo Qiaoya felt Ning Cheng's powerful domain blocking his twin chess piece domain, and suddenly smiled. He raised his hand slightly and shot out another chess piece. This seemed to be his usual routine. Ning Cheng ignored Suo Qiaoya and shot out the treasured thunder spear in his hand with a faint thunder shadow. Ka! An explosion suddenly erupted over the battle ring. The spectating cultivators were still feeling happy when they saw the two of them fighting without any hesitation. However, this thunderous explosion caused their eardrums to tremble. A powerful celestial essence backlash surged over, causing Ning Cheng to feel shocked. Even the celestial gatherer cultivator he had faced previously did not have such a powerful celestial essence. Fortunately, he had stayed in the arena for more than 10 days, allowing his celestial essence to soar. Otherwise, he would have spat out a mouthful of blood. Suo Qiaoya, on seeing Ning Cheng not showing any abnormalities, felt surprised. His celestial essence was so powerful that even a weaker celestial gatherer cultivator would find it difficult to resist. However, this puny celestial novice cultivator not only blocked it, but also came out unscathed. Sure enough, his reputation was not in vain. If this is all you have, then let's call it a day. Suo Qiaoya's voice had a powerful penetrative power. Although his words were directed at Ning Cheng, the entire arena heard them clearly. Another 3 chess pieces fell at the same time. 2 chess pieces, one from the left and one from the right, rushed into Suo Qiaoya's domain pattern. One and the other turned into 2 huge chess peaks that smashed down towards Ning Cheng's head with incredible speed. This move was simple and clear, but also very effective. Suo Qiaoya had used this move to kill countless powerhouses. Once he added 2 more chess pieces, his chess pattern domain would immediately double in strength. Even if the opponent's domain could resist it before, it would immediately collapse under the strengthening of his domain. At least until now, Suo Qiaoya had not seen anyone who could remain unscathed under his 4 chess piece domains. Suo Qiaoya's 4 chess piece domains directly locked onto everything in the surrounding space. As long as his domain bound and locked onto anything, they could only watch as his chess peaks came crashing down, smashing everything into a bloody pulp. Suo Qiaoya liked this direct and effective method. Every time he used this method to smash his opponent into a bloody pulp, it would give him a pleasant feeling in his heart. He had already taken Ning Cheng seriously enough, so he immediately sent out 6 chess pieces. He had never met an opponent who could force him to send out 6 chess pieces at once. Today was the first time. It was not that he had to do this, but he did not want to drag things out with a celestial novice cultivator. If he dragged things out with a trivial celestial novice cultivator, he would feel that he would lose face. For him, other people's celestial novice cultivators were just trivial. Only his celestial novice cultivation was the real deal. However, Sua Qiaoye immediately felt that something was wrong. His chess pattern domain, formed by his 4 chess pieces, did not cause his opponent to pause for even half a moment. Moreover, it did not even give him the slightest upper hand in the confrontation between the 2 domains. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.